Hello, everybody. It is Lynn, the Go Live Granny. There, look, it says so up there. And I'm live streaming here on Sunday, the 18th of May 2025. Sorry, it's been a very busy week, and I can't believe that I've already started live streaming 2 minutes after I should have done. That is amazing, because I've had a manic day today. I did a live stream when I came in. I only had half an hour, no, less than half an hour to get my tea and to get sorted and get on here. And I've done not bad at all. So, as I say, yes, live streaming this on Sunday, the 18th of May, 2025. It is my twin granddaughter's 18th birthday today. So the 18th birthday on the 18th of May. But I'm not with the family at the minute, obviously. We're celebrating at the end of the week. Not celebrating the girl's birthday today. Well, they're having a little bit of a celebration in the garden now, but not the big family party that we're going to have next weekend, because one of their best friends has she's got an A level on Monday, and it didn't make sense to have it this weekend. It made much more sense to have it next weekend. It also means that we go into half term after the week. Hello, oh, long time no speak, Tracy. Where have you been all this time? Anybody watching in, I was with Tracy a lot of the day today. We haven't been apart very long. That's our little joke. Anyway, so we're celebrating next weekend. Literally, I've been so busy all day, and I started cooking my tea. I thought, if I get my tea into the microwave now, I can ring my granddaughters and wish them happy birthday, because I didn't do it earlier in the day because one of them was at work, and I was very busy, and I thought, but I mustn't forget, it's the 18th birthday. So literally, I put the tea in the oven and then rang them and sang to them and had a quick chat, which was very nice. And then I said, I've got to go. So we will be catching up. And one of my granddaughters said, when are you coming back, Granny? Which made me feel that, and she's the one who's already had her birthday money. So it's not, she wants me there to get a present off me, because I did actually, I put some money in her bank for something. Oh, she'd lent us something when we were on holiday. And I thought she'd lent me a certain amount. And so I put that money in the bank, and actually she'd lent me half of what I thought. So I said, well, keep the rest for your birthday. So she's had her birthday money, but the other one hasn't had hers. But it was the one who'd had it said, when are you coming, Granny? So I knew it wasn't cupboard love. It was just so nice. I do get on, very well with my grandchildren most of the time. Occasionally, one or two of them might be, the younger ones get a bit grumpy, but that's because they're going through those stages in life. And I think, well, so what? They'll be fine. Anyway, what a week. What a week it's been. It says at the top, this week was going so well. Well, it was going so well. I've had a wonderful week. It went so well till Saturday. And what I wait a minute, I forgot to greet those of you in the live stream. Very welcome. Now, if you're coming in on the replay, please pop replay in the comments so that I can actually comment to you. I will know that you've watched the replay, and I will comment to you in a little while. So if you feel like commenting, please do. I can see people coming in now. It would be lovely if you do comment, but actually, if you don't want to comment, that's okay too. It's okay to sit and watch. What we don't want is people. I did a live stream over on my Isle of Wight live channel earlier, and somebody was putting the same comment in time and time again, and I deleted one of the comments, and the person stopped to keep making the comments. So I've never had much to block anybody. Once or twice we have, but if do chat along if you want to. If you want to sit in the background, that's perfectly fine. I know sometimes I'm on in the background for some people, and that's okay too. Whatever you like to do. And if you come late to the party, don't say, oh, I'm sorry I'm late, because it doesn't matter. It's not like school. You come when you want and you go when you want, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Jane, oh, thank you. Tracy's tagging people in there as well. That's wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy has been like my right arm person for did a broadcast when I came in tonight, because I've been at the most amazing Ride a Bus event, which I will come to but I need to go through the week, otherwise I'll forget what I did earlier in the week. But I've been at this most amazing event today, Ride a Bus, and Tracy was very much my helper there. Hello, Alexander, nice to see you. See you coming in there from Facebook. And so yes, so Tracy is brilliant at doing things. Tracy's like, hello, Carol, how are you? It's just like Tracy said, almost like a personal secretary to me. When I need something looking up, when I was doing broadcasting earlier this evening, before I had my tea, there were things I needed to know, and she got on good old Google. It was all right. Hello. So lovely to see Carol. So what sort of week has everybody else had? I've had a wonderful week. I had a wonderful week with no shenanigans until Saturday, and then we had shenanigans, and then we had more shenanigans, and then we had some shenanigans today. So never mind. Let's go back to the beginning of the week. And I can't quite remember what I did on my. I'm going to start having to keep a diary, or having to get Tracy to keep my diary for me and remind me. You blocked the person's. Oh, thank you, Tracy. That's okay. I didn't know. I put up. I actually deleted the comment. And then the comment stopped. But if you block them, that was brilliant. That's fantastic. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, you learn something new every day, don't you? So we don't have many trolls. We had some trolls in here a few years ago, and first of all I thought it was friends messing about, and then I realized it wasn't friends messing about, and it wasn't very nice. So I found out that I could block people. So that's what we would do. But mostly thank you, Tracy. Look, she is keeping my diary. Hi, Tina. I stayed in on Monday, and you came. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Where would I be without you? I can't remember back to Monday, and yes, I do remember back to last weekend when I had 2 full-on days in a row, didn't I? So I did Riverfest, and I did I went out to watch the Walk the Whiters, and 2 days in a row for me is a bit much. But of course I'd had an early night on Friday night and an early night on Saturday night in order to cope with the 2 full days, and then on Monday I was staying in. That's right. And Tracy, that's right, you bought, didn't you? Did you bring me the boppers round? Was that what you did? I think that's what you did, wasn't it? That seems so long ago. But you were coming round. You were coming round to see me, and I think that's why you were coming, wasn't it? Yeah, Tina, I saw you come in. I think you came in on the broadcast earlier, but we got such a bad signal while we were doing that, so it was difficult to do much. But I have got the video. I will put some videoing up. I'm going to go and get, I think it was the boppers, wasn't it, that you came around? I'm going to go and get it. I need my visual aids. Yes, Walk the White booklet. You gave me that. When did you give me the boppers? Was that another day, or was it the same day? And not wand. I know you didn't mean wand. We can wave a wand if we want to, but I don't know. So did I already have the boppers? I can't remember when you gave me the boppers. I know that you gave me the Walk the White booklet, but I did. Oh, I haven't. On Monday. That's it. Oh dear. Yes. So I should go and get the Walk the White booklet, shouldn't I? Because it's on my desk, and we haven't shown it to anybody or whatever. And the booklet about Walk the White booklet. Yes. Okay. Let me go and have a look. Oh, that I was challenged by that referral link across the front of the screen before. It's now gone into just a tiny circle, so it's not blocking so much of the screen, which is great. Let me go. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute, and I will go and get the booklet. I hope I know where it is. I think I know where it is. Right, just keep on chatting to yourself. Oh. And just like that, she's back. Oh my goodness, here I am. That's it. Good evening, Paul. Nice to see you. To see you, nice. Have I got them? I put them on the wrong way round. Oh my goodness, you can't get these go live grannies, can you? So I had admired. Good evening from Paynton. Oh, Carol went on an old bus with your kids today. We went from the bus museum to Shanklin, then to the Donkey Sanctuary, back to Ride. A lovely long ride for all free. But I did a donation as it was a lovely afternoon. Well, thank you very much. I was at the bus museum today. Sorry I didn't see you. I was there all day. No, all day except when I went on a bus, and I didn't know I was going on a bus. But I'm going to go back to earlier in the week and come back to today and go chronologically, because otherwise I shall miss some bits out. Not that it matters. I mean, who cares? But let's try and do it. So Tracy had these she'd got some lovely boppers like this, bee boppers, and I wanted them. I didn't want hers. I didn't want to steal hers. Hello, Steve. The window cleaner is in the house. Boo! He's saying, coming in on YouTube. I think the rest of you are in on Facebook at the moment. I think that's what we've got. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, I admired the boppers that Tracy had. And I said, oh, where did you get them? Where did you get those boppers? Where did you? And she had got them in Poundland, but they were in the Easter clearance. So I thought, oh, there probably won't be any left. But Tracy said, don't worry. She said, I've got some for you. And she insisted on giving me them. She wouldn't let me pay her for them. So these were a donation, a gift from Tracy to me. It's not my birthday yet. You may have to pop over to Facebook then. That's all right. Pop over where you like, Steve. It doesn't matter. You can hop from one to the other. I know that it's easy to see what everybody else is doing if you're on the same channel as them. But you know, I do both so that it works for both people. And actually, what's happening is Facebook are going to get rid of all the lives. Every time if I'm not if I'm not live streaming on both at the same time, like I do when I do my Sunday broadcasts, then I'm having to so today I was live streaming or trying to live stream with a very bad signal. And whatever I did today, I'm going to have to download quickly because they're going to obliterate it. They're getting rid of all the Facebooks. They are my birthday present. Thank you. My birthday's not till September, Tracy. What a nice early birthday present. So I do love boppers, as you know, and I love silly things to go on my head. And it's just last week I had my rainbow hat on and my rainbow glasses, didn't I? Oh, I must find some bumblebee glasses. I wonder if I could find any bumblebee glasses to go with this, but we will see. So anyway, so yes, I was having a rest day on Monday because I'd been out all weekend, and Tracy was coming. I think Tracy and her family were coming over to see a friend in Ryde, and so she said she would pop in, and she bought me the Walk the White booklet as well, and the boppers, and and I said, oh, and while you're here, her son Steve is quite tall, and it was wonderful because he changed my clocks for me, because when the clock changed, I couldn't change them because I daren't climb up. You know what happens when I climb? The other day I climbed on my sofa over there and I slipped off. I didn't hurt myself. The only issue was trying to get up after I'd slipped onto the floor, and it took me 20 minutes to work out how to get myself up off the floor, which I did. I was like my gran. I pondered it and I thought, what's the best way to do this? And I was over on the floor over there. Hello, you've just rushed in from YouTube. There we go. Did you come by tube? So the sofa that's over there, I'm sitting on one sofa, and then I've got another sofa over there. And I couldn't pull myself up off the floor on the arms because it's a two-seater sofa, and my arms don't stretch to both the arms. You know, if it was an armchair, I could have done that and got myself up, but it was a sofa and it wasn't easy to get hold of anything to pull myself up. Free of charge. Oh, excellent, jolly good. And so what I did, and I'm very much like my own gran. She used to sit and work things out and think, well, how will I do that? Let's have a think about it. And that's exactly how I was. No, Facebook won't go altogether, Carol. They're getting rid of the live stream storage. I don't know whether I'll be able to live stream on it, but storing it, I don't think so. So whether I'll be able to live stream and download it straight away, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to be doing more on YouTube or videoing things. But I like live stream because you can come in and comment. When I'm out and about, I might do a video of something and then put it onto YouTube. But for the live stream, well, I'll find out all the options. So Tracy's saying Steve didn't have a key this week to let himself into the house early. No, he wasn't in YouTube early either. Nobody was in YouTube before I went live. Nobody was around. I think you were all off. I don't know what you're doing, sunning yourselves in the garden because it's still nice. My when I rang my granddaughters just now to wish them happy 18th birthday, I think there's some neighbours had come over and they were sitting out in the garden because it was still nice. I've got a French door here. Not that I don't have a balcony. I have a Juliet balcony, one of those balconies that isn't a balcony, but it's just railings. So I can have my French doors open, which is lovely because it gets a lot of nice fresh air in. But there's not actually a balcony there, but I don't mind the fresh air. But I thought while I'm live streaming, it's going to get cold, and then I'd have to get up and go and shut it off. I mean, it's going to get dark, but I have put one of my lamps over here, so I might be able to put that on when it gets dark. Otherwise, I'll have to get up and go round to the light switches. So there we go. Hello, Shania. Oh, fantastic! Shania's popped in to give me. There we are. Another person with very useful information. Shania saying she thinks Facebook live stream will be kept for 30 days, and then it's deleted. Well, that's fine because otherwise it doesn't make much sense in doing live streams. But if it would, I can do it, and then I can download it straight away onto my camera, and then upload it to YouTube. So there we go. So anyway, telling you how I got up off the floor. I think I don't know if I told you this the other. I don't know when I slipped. I can't remember. Was it last weekend? Yes, it was last week, wasn't it? I might have told you this already, but there's people in the broadcast who weren't here last week, so I'll tell you anyway. So there I was on the floor over here working out how am I going to get up, and of course my phone was over the other side of the room, and if I couldn't have, well, normally I go around the flat with my phone. I wear a gilet a lot of the time, and it's got a pocket or a cardigan with a pocket, because if I do have a fall, because I'm of that sort of age that might happen, I usually have my phone on me around the flat. But of course that was over there, and I only came over here to do something quickly, and so the phone was there. So I thought, right, how am I going to get myself up off the floor? I can't phone my neighbour who's got my key because the phone's over the other side. Except what I could have done, I'm thinking now, if I hadn't got myself up, I could have shuffled across the floor and got the phone. I would have been able to reach the phone by shuffling on the floor. But actually what I did, I shuffled along the floor because over there I have got an armchair. My issue of trying to get up off the floor is my knees are not very good. Good evening, Richard. Richard's just come in the house. Richard is coming in on Facebook. And so, yes, so my knees, that was to get up off the floor, I would have wanted to roll onto my knees and then get myself up. But my knees don't tolerate that sort of thing anymore. So I couldn't kneel up because it would have been excruciating on my knee. So I hadn't hurt myself when I fell, so I didn't want to hurt myself in the process of getting up. So in the end, I sat there for a little while, quite amused at myself landing on the floor and not knowing what to do. So anyway, eventually I shuffled across the floor over to the armchair, and you had a good day supervising gun. Excellent, Richard. And we've had some wonderful days over here. I'll come to in a minute. So anyway, I got over to the armchair, and in front of the armchair I've got a footstool, and because the footstool's not very beautiful, I've put it's very, very practical. It's a lovely big footstool, which I'm supposed to put my legs up, and sorry, supposed to put my legs up. End of. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Anyway, I've got a blanket on it Hello, Kath. Nice to see you in. Kath is coming in from YouTube. Most people are in on Facebook, Kath. You come in wherever you like. Good evening, Susan. Susan's in the house now as well. This is wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And so just explaining how I got up off the floor when I fell on the floor, slipped onto the floor the other day. So as I say, I didn't hurt myself and I didn't intend to hurt myself. So I didn't want to roll onto my knees. So I shuffled over there. And the blanket that was on the footstool, I thought, aha, if I fold that up, I can make a cushion. Make it like a cushion, layer it up like that. And then I can kneel on it. And then my knees would be all right. And that's exactly what I did. So I made it like a kneelie cushion. And then I held on to the armchair. And because it's solid enough, the armchair didn't move. I was able to pull myself up. There we go. So that was good, wasn't it? Let's see. So Carol's church has changed venue today. Instead of being at Albert Street, you are meeting at the Ryde Private School for your Sunday morning services. It's very exciting. A lot of new people from all different nationalities. So is that a permanent move, Carol, or is it just for a little while? Let's go back. Did I miss any comments? Susan came in. Kath came in. What's happened? So the other day I slipped onto the floor, Richard. Is that what you mean? What I was describing? I slipped onto the floor and couldn't work out how to get myself up. But I did get myself up. And note to self, make sure I've got my phone in my pocket. Like I do often have. Hello, Astrid. Astrid is in the house. Nice to see you, Astrid. So yes, so I got myself up off the floor. And that was okay. And now I note to self, do not stand on your sofa, Lynn. That is not a good idea because it's easy to slip off the sofa, as I found out. So I won't be doing that again. And if I need something, so that was another reason why I've not attempted to change the times on my clock since the hour changed. I've got 2 analog clocks. The rest are all digital, so they change themselves. But when Tracy said that they were going to pop in, I said, "Oh, good." I don't know whether I said the clocks need doing, and she volunteered Stephen to do them. But anyway, however the conversation went, and I thought he might need a little step ladder, but he doesn't. He was so tall he could reach them. So my clocks are all saying the right time now because I had to factor in what's the time, look at the clock, and then change it an hour because we hadn't moved forward. It was obviously an hour before, because it's in spring, you spring forward, don't you? That's how I remember it. And so my clocks are now telling the right time, except the one in the lounge here isn't telling the right time because it's running a bit slow. So I don't know if the battery's going down or what, in which case if the battery goes down, then Stephen will perhaps need to pop in again to put a new battery in. I don't know. Anyway, for the time being, it's near enough. And I do ask my phone often. And I won't say the name, what I say when I ask the phone the time, because if I say that now, the phone will start trying to tell me the time in the middle of the broadcast. And you know what? I ask that certain person, SIRI. I often ask the time from my phone, because if I lose my phone, I ask the time, and then my phone speaks to me, and then I know where my phone is. But when I do that out, if I've lost it in one of my bags and I don't know which bag I've put it in, then I will ask the phone the time, saying the SIRI word, which I'm spelling so that she doesn't tell me the time now. And people standing around me always tell me what the time is. I said, no, I'm just trying to find my phone. Bonkers, I know. What I should just say is, hey, SIRI, where are you? I don't know if it would tell me that. So let's see. Susan's happy to change the clock for me as well. Thank you, Susan. And so Tracy said he changed the clocks, then he moved all the furniture. That's right. Oh, yes. Oh, how cheeky was I? While he was here, I said, oh, and while you're here, do you think, because I'm in danger of injuring myself, because it's more difficult for me to move furniture now than I used to. Now that piece of furniture, I've got some plastic drawers, but they're on wheels, And eventually I want to move them somewhere, but they will move easily because they've got wheels on them. But I'd moved a set of plastic drawers from the lounge to another room, and there was the second set of drawers that I wanted to take and put there, but it was a bit awkward for me to get them out. So Stephen very kindly took them in. Tracy's just, just trying to make me look bad. No, you're not, Tracy. Hello, Jill. And she's saying that her, I can say it, her Alexa does the same sort of thing. Wait a minute. Let's just go back a bit. So loves talking to you, even though you never ask her to. Oh, right. Yes. And I think that happens in my daughter's house. They've got Alexa and things like that happen. Well, they've also got one of the names is very like Alexa. So there we go. Let's have a look. Just let me go back a bit because Richard's giving me a YouTube clip, but I've no idea what it is. Richard, you need to give me some context, not just the link, because I have no idea what it is. Let's go back. Let's have a look. So wait a minute. Smile. You are doing okay and rest for day. It happens sometimes. Same as you. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So Steve is trying to persuade his mum to get a panic button, but she's denying she needs it. Well, I won't need a panic button if I absolutely am more sensible, and if I need if I have my phone with me. That would be, that's note to self. Make sure. So I'm now buying either trousers with pockets in or cardigans with pockets in, so that I do have my phone on me all the time. That would just be more sensible, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, so Richard was saying it's good. You need a pendant thingy. No use stairs. I don't need to use the stairs because once I'm upstairs, because my flat is on top of two garages, so I just come in the front door and straight up the stairs. But now I come up on my stair lift, and my stair lift is wonderful. And the only thing is my just inside my front door is a little bit difficult, and they used to keep Navy Nora on one side, but they've put that's the side they put the stair lift in, so Navy Nora, my walker, can't stand there. So I've had to push her over the other side, but I can't get the door open I can't get her out. It's all a bit tricky. I'm trying to work out what's the best thing to do, but I have to, as I say, there's not a lot of space in there. When my shopping comes, I have to just put it all in that little bit there, and then I get on the stair lift and I take a bag up at a time. Up on the stair lift, it's great. I go up and down and up and down. If I got 5 bags of shopping, I go up and down and up and down. But it's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a portrait gallery on the wall opposite the stair lift. I had that a house when I first came to the island. I had a house in Newport, and as I went upstairs, I could look at all the family photographs, and that's what I loved. And so I'm thinking, that's a plain wall that I'm looking at as I go up and down the stairs. And I do it so often that I think I'm going to put family portraits up there. And that will be lovely. Then I could look at my family all the time. I'm looking at my family all the time. But over there is my kitchen. And on top of the unit, I've got a small TV. I want to actually get a slightly bigger TV. I can't get too big a TV. In fact, I was going to get a new TV, and then I got new glasses. And I don't know if I need a new TV. I think I would still like one a little bit bigger than that one. And it's on a Lazy Susan. It's on one of those round, like a turntable. So at the moment, it's pointing over to my chair where I sit in my chair. I often sit there and put my feet up on the footstool and watch the TV. But now I'm on the sofa. I could sit on the sofa and I could swivel the TV around and face it this way, but I think I'm going to get a slightly bigger one. Can't get it too big because it would fall off the unit. The unit's not big enough to take a huge TV. I don't need a huge one. I need it a bit bigger than that. Right, let's have a look. Wait a minute, because I still missed some comments, I think. Right, no, Susan came in. Kath came in, Susan came in. That's it. You got New Church, and there we go. Astrid came in. Let's see. Let's just scroll. I'm hoping to be able to get a laptop soon, because then I will have you on the laptop and I will have my gadget as a second. It's always better to have two gadgets while I'm live streaming, but it was tricky doing it on my computer. My computer hasn't got a micro. It's not, well, it's not, it's, the computer is attached to a monitor. Excuse me. The computer's attached to a monitor, and the monitor, I don't have, it's, you know, it's only a monitor, so I don't have camera and all that sort of thing there, so I can only live stream here. But I thought if I got a laptop, I need a laptop for various reasons, and various things, and especially when I'm away at my daughter's, it's much easier to do stuff on a laptop. You know, some of the stuff I have to do than on my phone. But I don't know much about them, and I was trying to have a conversation with my son, but of course he's you know, not near. And oh, I might see him next weekend actually. Yes, I will, because we're doing family stuff next weekend. But oh, which means Sunday night, next Sunday, I probably won't live stream. I'll move it to Monday next, because I'm doing family stuff on Sunday. So anyway, I'm going to ask my son-in-law to advise me on it, I think, because he bought my daughter a new laptop, a reconditioned laptop, and he got a really good deal. So I'm going to see if he can get a good deal. But what I need is, I don't need to go and buy a laptop that then I don't know how to set up or do. I need somebody who can do all of that bit. I can just use it. There we go. Let's see. So now, no, it's not a Trumpton clock. Definitely not a Trumpton clock. I used to have a noddy clock. That's just reminded me, just pinged in my brain. When I was a little girl, I had a noddy clock. You know, one with Noddy. You know, Noddy and big ears, but Noddy. And Noddy used to sit there on the clock going like, as the clock ticked, so Noddy's head would nod up and down. And I'm not going to do that anymore because I make myself giddy. It's a very clever, all this technical shenanigans. Well, I don't, who knows? But anyway, I had no shenanigans all week till I got to Saturday, and I'll tell you about that. Sounds a good idea to you. So I don't know if Richard's told me what that link is yet. Jill's saying oh yes, about her Alexa. Susan's forever using her phone indoors too, and generally your phone is on silent. Well, that's not a lot of good then, is it? Dear, oh dear. When I used to, I have a landline, but I don't ever use my landline. It was so awful, you know, crackly, and everybody's got my mobile number that matters, and so I only use my mobile now. But I have a landline because I had my landline with my broadband. So, you know, but we all use the other phones. But when the landline was working, I used to phone my mobile from the landline to hear where it was. But if it's on silent, that doesn't work. So, Carol asks her Alexa to ring her phone. We all have had different ways, don't we? My goodness, we're not, you know, we're all so alike. So Astrid saying she still crochets hats and sews plastic canvas bookmarks for kids. She will donate to non-profit of Schoolhouse for Kids by the end of August week. Excellent, Astrid, that's wonderful. Steve doesn't have an Alexa. He still uses Google. He's very old-fashioned. Well, it doesn't matter. My son uses Google. He's a chef, but when he's cooking at home, he'll do some cooking and say, "Hey Google, set a timer for." I better not say this, because if you've all got Googles and I'm saying this, it will set all your Googles off, won't it? Oh dear, oh dear. Perhaps I not, but he uses his Google to set timers. I use my Siri to do it. So there we go. Same Astrid. She has phone in silent mostly when she's at work or busy. Oh, right. The link that Richard put in there was the Trumpton clock. Richard, drop the link into my in my messenger, and then I'll have a look afterwards. You don't like the panic buttons, and it costs extra monthly fees, same as me. I have my phone with me mostly. Yeah, absolutely. Good idea. Oh, he sent me a funny Alexa versus Siri video on Messenger. Okay, I'll look at that later. Steve used to love Trumpton. Don't you love it anymore, Steve? Tracy's got the kids' pictures on her stairs walls. It's my rogues gallery. Yes. Well, I have got that huge space, Tracy, as you know, because Tracy's been to my flat. There's that huge. It's the stairwell, and there's a big space there. But the other thing, why I mentioned my TV the other day, just now as well, is because I have Chromecast put in the back of my TV, which means I can cast my Google Photos to my screen. So when I'm in, I love seeing all the pictures, all the photographs that we've taken, and all the reason, and it just puts them up in a random order, and it just gives me the memories all the time. Oh yes, that was when we were at Butlins, or that was this and that, and it's just wonderful to have those memories rather than a plain blank old screen. It's lovely. It's like like a photo album, but up there. So Steve says Chigley and Camberwick Green. Yeah. Good deals on AOCOM medium TVs. Okay, I will get some, I'll get my son-in-law to help me with. Oh no, I know. Well, John, I think Kat's in the broadcast, isn't she? John was going to help me then, but they moved away. Not so they couldn't help me. It just, the timing wasn't right for me to get the TV before they went. I will do it, but in due course. I'm sure I can use the Ride Time Bank. I can find somebody on the Time Bank who knows about these things and say, oh, can you help me? I don't know whether that's not a priority. The computer is more, the laptop's more the priority. You notice that you go on train and bus. Most of them have assistants to help your disability people like as me. I go on special access van that has stair lift or lifting up and down by assistant. Excellent. Yes, I do have passenger assist and I use it a lot. Emma. Hello, Emma. How are you? And Sam's coming. So Emma's coming in on YouTube. Sam's coming in on Facebook. So as also some trains have flat floor rails for wheelchairs or walkers by assistant or automatic yourself. All right. What I do when I travel on the train, and I'm doing a train journey again this week, Wednesday, folks, look out for my shenanigans, my travel shenanigans on Wednesday. I just need a ramp put up to the train, and then I just wheel up the ramp. It's my walker I need to get up. So I use my walker to get up onto the train, and so that's how we do that. And so let's have a look. Richard saying top's good on back market and voucher. Yes, okay. I will, but I'm going to get advice from my son-in-law and get him to help me. Emma's saying, how am I doing? Oh, Emma's popped over here now to Facebook. Excellent. Yes, it's bank holiday again, and we're going to a barbecue at your brother's. Excellent. That's jolly good. I don't know whether we might have a barbecue. It depends what the weather's like next weekend. But, I've got twins who've just turned 18. And, and my one of them, she's absolutely horse mad. And she has a job at stables. And she was so excited to tell me the other day that she was going to get a pay rise today because she's now 18. Oh, we got glare on my glasses. Wait a minute, how was this? It's getting dark. I got a lamp over here. Let's put the lamp on, but I don't know. Whoops. I don't know how that works. How does that work? We got some light. Let there be light because it's getting dark. But I don't know how to get rid of the glare on my. Perhaps I need special glasses. Oh, I know. I should put the sunglasses on that I had the other day, but I don't know about that. So how did I manage to get onto the old buses? The one we got on, you need help to set was, well, okay. So I will go. I will tell you that I'm still trying to start at the beginning of the week. It's not going to happen, is it? It doesn't matter. It's just how the conversation goes. So folks, those who don't know, I was at a ride a bus weekend, and so was Tracy today, and there were old buses, and how I got on, well, I wasn't going to go on because I thought my walker won't get on and I won't be able to get on the buses either. But Tracy suggested that I left my walker with the people, get them to tuck it away somewhere so I could get on the bus without it. And of course, if I haven't got it with me, then I need to hold somebody's arm to walk. So Tracy and Tasha, they helped me with that part of it. And then I just managed. We chose a bus that didn't have a huge step, so that was okay. But at the end of the day, when I was going back, I wanted to go back from the bus museum to the interchange where I get the number 9 ordinary bus to go home. And I thought, if I can't get on a bus, if I can get on a bus at the museum, it will take me back there to the Esplanade. Otherwise, I've got to walk, and I was tired. And so we inquired, and so Tracy said, go and ask that lady over there. And I went to ask that lady there, and they were so nice. The volunteers were so wonderful. And she said, yes, we'll get you on. Oh, she said, this bus is going to the Esplanade in a minute. And then she talked to the guys there, and one of them lifted the trolley up and put it inside. And then I managed to get up. There was 2 steps there. I managed to get up. Then I went right to the back of the bus because Tracy and Tasha were sitting on the bus behind, ready for their bus to go, because they were going home to East Cowes, and I was going just up the road in Ryde. And so I waved to them, and I think I videoed them as well from my bus to their bus. So that was that. Right, let's have a look. Noddy, not nudie knits. Oh, right. Oh, yes. Nudie knits. Richard's referring to nudie knits. That is a knitting book we sort of discussed before. Knitting books where it's a bit. You need to look up nudie knits to know about it. It's a bit cheeky and saucy knitting. If anybody gets easily offended, don't look it up. But it's actually just a bit of fun. Bees on your head are so beautiful. Yes, so these bees, Tracy gave these to me the other day. She gave me these because I wanted some. She had some and I wanted some, and she had a spare set. I didn't know that, but I do like bumblebees because I buzz around a lot. And she likes bumblebees for different reasons. And so she very kindly gave me those. Right, let's have a look. If you downgrade, you can get cheap deals without the landline. Do you know what, Richard? I couldn't get much cheaper than I've got. So for my broadband and my landline, I'm paying less than £20, because sometimes when you're a bit short of money, they do these deals. So I'm lucky to have one of those deals. I bet Lynn made the bees tiara. No, I didn't. I didn't actually. This was from Poundland, and Tracy had one, and I admired it, and then she had a spare that she gave to me. And that's why they were coming round, to give me that and to give me the Walk the White brochure. And then just on top of that, I got Stephen to change the clocks and move one of my little plastic units. So there we go. Susan only uses her mobile to her landline stopped working, and so got rid of the phone. Absolutely. Who needs them? Georgia Toff from I'm a Celebrity is signing up for Strictly this year. Thank you, Sam. I hadn't seen that news. That's good. I don't know who she is, but I'll find out, won't I? There's some sort of AI help now on my smartphone. I have no idea what it. I have very little idea about AI at all. And at the minute, I've got so much in my head that I don't really have capacity to learn about AI. I think it's a good thing. I think it can be a good thing, my understanding, but I'm not in a position to want to learn it at the moment. Thank you, Richard. You sent the link on Messenger. Susan's saying pictures on my stairs would be a great idea, so you can look at everyone on your way up and down the stairs. Absolutely. And then I can change them over when I want different pictures. Oh, hang on. Whoa, it's jumped. Wait a minute, let's go back. So Susan's saying that she's happy to help me sort a TV if I give her a shout when you're ready. Sure, we can sort something out. Okay, Susan, I'll think about that. That's, as I say, that's not the priority. I think I'm going to go, and I can't do everything all in the same month. So I think the priority might be the laptop first. So there we go. Whoops, Stephen could give you a hand. He's got good on. Oh, okay. Look, all the offers of help are coming in. How lovely. Aren't I lucky? Did you see my Go Live Granny? That is smoothing hats that one of my lovely communities knitted me. And I've got another set of pink and maroon ones, but they got separated. And I keep finding them, and I keep finding a little smoothie hat with a letter on. So I'm collecting them up there. I've got some of the letters. I haven't found them all yet. They're all in here somewhere, but they got separated. Emma saying she's good, thank you. Just recovering from carpal tunnel surgery. Oh, bless you. I hope it was successful. Whoops, hang on. So Tracy's saying, Tracy and her children have done ride a bus for years, and you've seen Lynn there a few times. So yes, but I'd never tried to get on the bus because of the, not being disabled friendly. Because years ago, people didn't seem to worry about those things, did they? It wasn't a thing to do stuff for disabled people, but now, of course, it is a thing. And so Tracy had seen me there, but she was the one who suggested I get on the bus. She said, "Come on the bus with us," and I did enjoy it. I really did. It made it such a different experience. So I think I've just pitched straight into this ride a bus event, and people coming in might not know what we're talking about. So let's do the ride a bus, and let's go back to what happened in the week later on. So there was this weekend. Wait a minute, where's it gone? Where did I put here we are. Look, here it is. Ride a bus, okay? And ride, as in ride the Isle of Wight, ride where I live. When you put ride where I live, it's got an E on it. But look, they've done it, ride a bus. So we have the Isle of Wight Bus and Coach Museum in Ryde. And it's a wonderful place with all vintage buses in it. And there are so many bus enthusiasts around. And not just on the island, but on the mainland as well. And they do ride a bus in May every year, and then in October. And this year it's the 11th and 12th of October. So that's at the back of the book here. It says our next major event will be White. They call that White Rider. It used to be beer and buses event, but they've changed it to White Rider. And actually that would be more attractive to me because beer and buses didn't float my boat. And actually that sort of thing it gives it a whole different feeling. I think they probably still go to the pubs and things, but it just puts a different spin on it. So anyway, so it's amazing. But the bus museum is run by volunteers, all volunteers, and all the money is raised by volunteers. I don't think they've any grant funding or anything. Maybe they have, I don't know. But they have to raise all the money. And it's an amazing tourist attraction. And you know what? Somebody was telling me today, and I don't know who it was, can't remember, that somebody they knew lived just across the road. And they didn't, just over the road, they didn't even know the bus museum was there. and to be honest, the lady I was talking to, who's now the treasurer of the bus museum, she's doing all the social media, and she's doing a whiz because it keeps popping up in my feed all the time, and then I'm able to share it. So we've had a good conversation today about things, and I'm lots of things, and I just want to promote these sorts of things because this is the community working together. And I did a live stream before this live stream. I did it over on YouTube on my Isle of Wight.live channel. And I went through this book, and this book has got adverts in from lots of our local businesses and events, including White Fibre. They've put one there, and some of our local shops. And you know what? This is the community working together. Some of you will know that I spend a lot of time in the Star Coffee and Ale House, and he's taken an advert in here. The Old Sweet Shop's taken an advert. The Long John Eater. Lots of these places have taken adverts. This is a program and timetable. Now, you could go on the buses for free, but bearing in mind this is run by volunteers and they need to raise all the money to keep the place alive. I think I need to put my light on. Let me go and put my top light on because I look like I'm sitting in some dark hole. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. I will go over and put the light switch on, and hopefully I won't slip over while I'm doing it because you've got the phone over there. Right. Let's see if that makes a difference. Let's come back again. Going carefully so I don't slip. Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? Let there be light. And there was light. So I knew I would forget where I was going with this one because I stopped in mid-conversation. Tracy's saying that's a comment I already... I was a happy bunny on the bus. It was so nice that I could experience the whole experience. Yeah, it was totally different because before I've been to the rider bus event, I've sat at the bus station, in the bus, at the museum, and watched all the buses come and go. And I actually never got on one, but actually getting on one and going and round. We only went on the one I went. We went to Seaview, and I tried to live stream on the way, and the some of you popped in, but the signal dipped out, so that wasn't very helpful. Hang on, I haven't said hello to Heather. I saw you come in, Heather, but I haven't got that far. Good evening, beautiful friend. I've just got in from a busy day of errands. Lovely to have you here, Heather. Nice to see you coming in from the States, isn't it? Oh, she's hopped over to Facebook as well. Some of you are doing that. Wait a minute, let's have a look. Oh, wait a minute. So, oh, right, hang on, it all jumped. Wait a minute, let's go back. It jumped. Oh, hang on. What am I drinking tonight? I am drinking cherry Pepsi. What am I drinking? I'm drinking Pepsi Max Cherry, which is one I can have on Slimming World because it doesn't have the sugar. Maximum taste, no sugar. So that's all right for Slimming World. So, and Carol's saying that years ago when we were in COVID, everybody who used to come into my live streams then would all chat and pretend we were having a party. And when they got a bit naughty, we put them on the naughty step. This was all just a bit of fun. Got us through COVID, didn't it, Carol? But that's why she's asking what you're drinking tonight, because people would say what they were drinking, and and they had to behave themselves or they'd get put on the naughty step. Let's go back. So, there we are. Heather said she's just got in from errands. Sam saying his bestest friend Jean says hiya to Jean. Carol saying, what am I drinking tonight? Steve saying, whoa, hang on, it goes so quick. This is why I need something, not just a phone. When I touch it, it scrolls and the words go up where I can't see them and I have to keep bringing them down. Steve says, I don't have a landline anymore. I was only using it to call Alfie to tell him I was about to ring him on WhatsApp. I'll tell you, I'm about to ring you. Pointless. I only have a smartphone now with PlusNet broadband for under £30 a month. Well, my mobile, my son managed to get me. I mean, we had shenanigans trying to do it, and then we had shenanigans. I remember us going into a 3-phone shop and them not being able to help us, and they couldn't help us because I wasn't at home, and I had to have the SIM card sent to home because they could prove that that's who I was if they sent it to my house, but they couldn't. Standing in the shop with proof of my identity was not good enough. So that was shenanigans years ago. But anyway, he managed to get me a deal that was less than 20 for my mobile, and I have all you can eat data. So because I do the live streaming, I needed to be able to do all that. And because I talk a lot, mind you, I don't actually use the phone as a phone match. I do it more for messaging now. But there we go. Gin from bus ride past the Mermaid Distillery. Yes, we passed the Mermaid Distillery, so we could have perhaps had some gin. I don't drink gin. I'm not much of a drinker anyway. How many smoothie hats did we collect? We haven't finished the smoothie hat collections yet. I don't know. I'm waiting for them to do a count of the ones that I've already given to Age UK Isle of Wight. And I gave them to them because they were they had free postage to send them off to head office for a certain time. And so we got in as many as we could. So I handed over 1,000, but I'm not quite sure what the total was because I didn't want to sit and count them all. And I thought, you know what, they're gonna recount them. So I'm just going to leave it to them to count because I've got too many other things to do. And then I've had some more come in since. So I've got about another 300 or 400 here. And there are other people still making them. So there's a lot of smoothie hats. We've already beaten I know we've beaten the total of what we did last time, the full total of what we as a community did last time. Because I'm looking at the picture on the wall of Yvonne with all the hats there. We did about 1,070 something, and I know we've gone past that total now already, but I'm waiting to find out. And Steve was saying pointless. He was saying pointless about ringing Archie to tell him, doing that, telling him he was going to do something, I don't know. And Richard's picked up on the word pointless, and he says, I like Pointless too, which is a quiz program over here in the UK, and I love Pointless as well. The idea, Heather, is you have to, when they do the quiz show, the people who win are the ones who get the lowest scores. So they ask 100 people, 100 people, 100 questions, I think, on certain subjects, and then these people have to guess. They have to come up with the answers, but they have to then guess which answer will score the lowest. And if it doesn't score any, it's a pointless answer, and then that's really good. For it to be a pointless answer, it's really good. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But there you are. That's how it goes. We have to remember we have people not from the UK who might not know what we're talking about. So Heather's saying she's glad she was able to make it home and from errands and didn't miss me. So don't forget, next Sunday I won't be live streaming because my family will all be together. Birthday celebrations. So there's the twins' birthday, and then there's one of the little ones' birthdays, and I've got some stuff I'll show you. I've got some birthday stuff here that I'm going to share with you. So Susan used to enjoy going on the beer and buses when they used to have the big event, and loads of old buses came from all over the UK. Being a driver and having no one that generally takes me out in their car was lovely to be driven around the island and could have a drink too if I wanted to. Yes, and that's the thing. So the event today was mostly around Ryde. It did go a bit further than Ryde. It went out to the Donkey Sanctuary in Wroxall. Core Abbey is on the edges of Ryde, so it went to Core Abbey. It went to the Donkey Sanctuary. Oh, it went to the Dinosaur. These were different buses. They went to the Dinosaur Isle and Brown's Golf Course. So those are in Sandown, of course. So mostly in Ryde, and then the one later in the year. Sorry, I'm hopping from one thing to another, aren't I? Later in the year. It goes more round the island. It's called the White Rider, and I was getting confused because I thought I'd got the name wrong, because one of our passenger ferries that comes from Portsmouth from Portsmouth to the end of the pier, that's called White Rider as well. So you can see how easily I get confused. So let's have a look. The bus museum, Alexandra's saying the bus museum is wonderful. You've been there several times lately, seeing concerts there. Oh, I didn't know they did concerts there. And I'll tell you what they did the other day. They did a fashion show there. So Tina, who runs Bellissima in Union Street in Ryde, she does a lot of fashion shows. Often she'll do a fashion show so she's got a ladies' dress shop. Or dresses, coats, whatever. That's where I bought that wonderful dress last year when I first started losing the weight, that so many people commented on, put wonderful comments on it, and that's where I got that dress. And I was in the other day looking for a dress, but I actually said I have to go back because I didn't have much time, so I will be getting another dress. And they're ones that you put the rah petticoats underneath, a bit like rock and roll time, that sort of thing. So I'm going to get another one of those dresses and another petticoat, a different colour petticoat. But anyway, she sponsored. She advertised in here, so that helped the rider bus people. But she also ran a fashion show there the other day, and they had cream teas. So it's £15 a ticket, and they had cream teas and I think there was a raffle. There were one or two bits and pieces included in the £15 and the fashion show. And I've forgotten now. What did they say they were raising funds for? Can anybody prompt me on that one? So Tina's always fundraising. She does fashion shows. She's done a lot of fashion shows in different places. She's done them at Aspire Church. She's done them out at the their Wildlife Animal Sanctuary, Wild Heart Animal Sanctuary. She's done them in different places, and then I noticed that she was doing it at the bus museum, and she does it for charity each time, and I can't remember what the charity is, but it's amazing. Let's have a look. It's cool. Whoops. Astrid's saying it's cool, but I've forgotten what we were referring to. Oh dear. That's when the comments, I can't keep up with the comments. You understand that some folks bring their own private buses from the mainland. Yes, they do. Carol, there was a bus from Devon, and there were a whole troop of people, a tribe of people. They all had blue T-shirts on. I think actually their T-shirt said Cornwall. the bus said Devon, but I don't know whether the T-shirt said Devon and Cornwall, but I saw Cornwall written on something, but you know, maybe they'd combined and come up together. It's amazing. These people give their time. They're volunteers and they give their time, you know, to help. I mean, obviously they have a passion for the buses, and you know, bus enthusiasts and that. And I yet met a young man first thing when I was having my coffee when I first got there, and he was on the next table and we started chatting. And he was a bus enthusiast, and he came for the weekend. So this is a huge tourist pool for anybody. People come from all over the country for the weekend for this event, and that's brilliant for our tourism. And you know, just amazing, because not only are they coming to support the bus museum, but they also are supporting our local accommodation providers, and then probably some of our local cafes as well while they're around and about. I mean, the bus museum has a cafe anyway, so they'll be supporting there as well. So it's just great, absolutely great. Yeah, Susan's saying that's better. We can see now. That's because I put the light on just now. Perhaps next time, if you do the rider bus, let me know and I'll see if I'm free to come over as well. Yes, Susan, do you know, I didn't even know that I was going to go until I was in two minds to go. I wanted to go, but I needed to stay home because I have been out and about so much. I have taken so many photographs. I have done a lot of video. When I live stream, it's great because it goes straight up onto um, onto Facebook. Actually, well, now I'm having to download them again and load them up to YouTube. I might start like doing live streams directly in YouTube. I did one today in YouTube, and then I couldn't work out how to switch it off at the end of when I'd finished live streaming it. I found the button. I will get better at it. But you know, so I have not put up all the videos that I took on the 30th of April at the town meeting. And there's all loads of photographs. There's the Riverfest photographs from last weekend, and all that. None. I haven't got all this stuff up online, and so I was thinking, oh, maybe I should stay home and do it. But then I thought, no, I shouldn't. I should be out at the bus museum, and so I decided to go to the bus museum. And Helen and Jake, they were going to the bus museum, and they lived down the road. And so I messaged them and I said, oh, I'm going to get a taxi. Do you want to come in the taxi? I didn't want them to pay because I was going in the taxi whether they were going or not. So I said, don't know, just ride with me. You don't need to pay anything. I will pay it because, you know, I wanted to take the taxi anyway. And we had shenanigans because the taxi was booked for 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, it wasn't showing on the app. The app wasn't coming up. I think it said, oh no, wait a minute. This sort of thing happened yesterday as well. It said, no, it was yesterday. It said, we can't find your car. Oh dear, oh dear. But today, it wasn't showing on the app at 11 o'clock. And usually just a bit before you can track it. You can click on it and it says the taxi's on its way. It's 5 minutes away or it's 6 minutes away, whatever. And you can monitor it, but it wasn't showing at all. So I rang up Ride Taxis, having had an issue yesterday, which I will tell you about. You see, I'm doing this in reverse order. I was cross with Ride Taxis yesterday, and I'm going to put a complaint in. But normally they're very good, normally fine. But yesterday's shenanigans. So today I had shenanigans again, and I said, look, I had this issue yesterday. I said, it's not showing me that there's a car coming. Well, actually today it wasn't their fault. What had happened, there was a big event at Robin Hill. And as Tracy said, there'd been I don't know if she said it in this broadcast or the other broadcast that I did. There had been a crash somewhere en route near Robin Hill, and that is what made a traffic problem. And that's why the taxi was late to me, because it got stuck in the traffic. So that was okay. That was a good enough explanation to me today. Yesterday, they just ballsed it up. Oh, sorry, did I say that? No, how rude. So anyway, so the taxi eventually came about 10, 15, 20 minutes late. Wasn't too bad. Helen and Jake were meeting people down there, but it wasn't like crucial that they must be there on time, so that was okay. So we got down there okay. Excuse me, I got to have another drink. I must stop talking. Oh, no, hang on a minute. I'm doing a live stream. I can't stop talking. So that's good. So yes, Susan, so I didn't actually even know myself really that I was going until last minute. But anyway, I will let you know. A few more weeks and it'll be light till at 10 p.m. here in the UK. It will be brilliant. I love it when you get the very light evenings, you know. It's amazing. And then I hate it in December when it's dark at 4 o'clock. You know, what a span. It can be dark at 4 o'clock in December, and you know, in a little while it will still be light at 10 p.m. Amazing. There we are. Oh, Tracy's saying we'll have to do a go live granny bus outing on the buses. Yes, we will. We can do it on the ordinary buses, and we can do it on these buses next time when they have the event in October. So Tracy's saying, yes, Carol, they do. Now I forgot what the question is. Never mind. You're talking to Carol, so I'll move on. It's like golf. You need the lowest score. Yes, that's right. So that was pointless. That's what we need, the lowest score. Exactly. Tracy's saying the 11th and 12th of October is the next one. Susan, if you're free, we could all go on. That would be fantastic. Yes, let's put it in the diary. And what I am doing is I'm now using my diary on my phone, because I have a diary. Each year I get a diary. I write things in the diary and then I lose the diary. Can you imagine? Can you believe it? No. Yes, you know me too well. So wait a minute. More drinky drinks. And it's not gin from the distillery. It is good old Pepsi Max Cherry. Whoops. Oh dear. So there we go. Let's have a look. Carol's saying, Alexandra, what concert have you been to at the Bus Museum? I've got a list because I was talking to Shirley, who is the treasurer of the Bus Museum and does all the social media. I was talking to her about what was going on, and she gave me a list of all the events that are coming up. But I haven't got it here. I will share it another time. Ooh, that would be a weekend for autumn trip down from... Yes. So Richard lives on the North Isle, as we call it. So he lives on mainland UK. He lives Birmingham area, but he loves the Isle of Wight. And we met on the number 9 bus one day when he was on the Isle of Wight. And he often comes to the island. So that's why he's saying that might be a good weekend to book an autumn trip. Yes, it would. I will just have to make sure I'm around that weekend and not on the mainland. If I've got special dates on the mainland, you know, like 18th birthday parties and things, then obviously I have to go to the mainland. Well, I don't have to, but I want to go to the mainland to be with family. But if it's something that I can say, well, I could come this week or I could come that week, you know, just to pop and see the family, then if I've got the other things in, I can work around them. So we'll see how we go. Let's see what we can do. Your friend Jean had a fall on the 9th. Oh, bless her. I hope she's okay. So Carol's saying, I wonder when I turn 70 in less than 3 years' time, I could have a birthday party at the Bus Museum. Well, why not? Let's see. I'm sure you could. I'm sure they'd be open to that. We can have a bus party. Tracy and Richard sounds good to me, says Susan. So you wonder if the ferry companies give them a chance. They did, actually. Yes, there was in this program. So I did a live stream all about today's bus event, and I did it, and you will find it on YouTube on my Isle of Wight.live YouTube, and I can give you that link if you're not quite sure how to find it. I was trying to live stream. I was trying to go live on Facebook, and it wasn't happening. And I ended up going live on YouTube, direct on YouTube, which I hadn't done for a while, and then I couldn't find out how to switch it off at the end of the stream. And I've forgotten what I was saying, because that's what happens. Dear, oh dear, I'd be dangerous with a brain. Oh yes, and I went right through this, and there were discounts. So Tina was offering a discount in her shop for a certain purchase price. If you would get 15% off if you spend a certain money in her shop over this weekend. Let's have a look. Some of them were giving discounts. I can't remember. who they were, but there were several that were doing a discount over this weekend, or there's one that's actually doing a discount that finishes tomorrow. But I did notice that the ferry I think it was Red Funnel, was offering a good deal for anybody coming over. Now I can't find them, of course, but I went through this every page. That's why it was a very long broadcast. But yes, so hang on, wait a minute. They did get a cheaper rate. You saw Steve Love there. Oh yes, Steve Love is great, isn't he? Steve Love sings songs about the Isle of Wight. So then last weekend it was a VE Day. Oh, I bet the VE Day concert was brilliant. All day with Solent Sound, Boogie Woogie Girls, and Gypsy Jazz. Yes, that's right. Gypsy Jazz was advertised in here because it was to do with Moncton Arts, I think, wasn't it? And they were doing something with Moncton Arts as well. Trouble was, last weekend there was so much going on. So I was at Riverfest all day on Saturday, and I was over in Freshwater videoing Walk the White. So I was over there all day, and I had to go to bed early Friday and early Saturday because otherwise I wouldn't have. I don't normally like to do 2 days in a row anymore. I like to have a rest day, but that didn't work. It can't work when you've got too many things on the same weekend. That's all. It must be excellent. You would think so. Hang on, wait a minute. That was all at the Bus Museum. Definitely at the Wild Heart Animal Sanctuary, a birthday meal. Right, okay. Is that for your birthday, Richard? When is your birthday? I can't remember all the birthdays. Oh, and the rug band. Oh, they're wonderful. The rug band at the Bus Museum, all free for donation. And that's what's so wonderful about our community here. And it's all about working together. There are people who don't get it. There are people who think you must charge a huge amount of money and do this and that. No, you don't. When you come together and do all these things and people volunteer and work together, people will donate. And they'll probably donate more than maybe they were going to pay on a ticket price. Some of them will. Not everybody can. But, when you work like that, you don't exclude anybody. We're in a cost of living crisis, and some people would not have been able to go on those buses today if there had been a charge. So there was no charge on the buses, but this was £10. But I didn't mind paying £10 because that's my donation to the charity. But in return, I got all this wonderful... oh, excuse me, this wonderful booklet to share with my live streamers, I think I've done far too much talking today and this weekend, but there you go. Rum and Coke, she's saying. Hang on. Susan says she uses a diary on her phone. She used to buy a diary and not use it, just use my phone, as generally it's me and it's with me and can give me absolutely. And that's what I need to do now, because I would say to my daughter, I'll look at my diary and see. Then I couldn't find my diary and then I couldn't work out the dates. So I just actually use the phone and just go into it and then try. And then I will start setting reminders, like an alarm on my phone. If I think I'm going to forget something, I'll put it in and I'll put an alarm in advance that will make me remember, because I am getting a bit forgetful. I don't, it is what it is. Right, so Tracy's saying, as my PA, she will add White Rider to your calendar. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, I don't know, did I already do it? I don't know. No, I put something in that's later in the year already, but I can't remember what. And Richard's saying, lol. Right, so... That was so the did I finish talking about the Bus Museum? Because I've already done one live stream about the Bus Museum, I'm now forgetting what I've already told on the other live stream and what I've told here. So I mean, it was just an amazing day, and it made all the difference, me getting on the bus and going for a trip, because it gave me the whole experience, and it was very different than just staying at the Bus Museum and videoing or live. Well, I couldn't live stream, the signal was so bad. Yes, Lynn, you have, and oh dear, I'd be dangerous with the brain, wouldn't I? So anyway, no, so it was just an amazing day. Absolutely, and I will write to them and say what an amazing day it was. And I was just watching people really enjoying what they were doing. You know, that's the beauty of when these events go on. I see lots of other people enjoying themselves, and how our beautiful island is you know, it's so attractive. Not just those of us who live here, but the people who come over and join in with these events. And you know, that's why I'm so glad I'm back to health. You know, full health, and well, apart from the cough, but that's because I'm talking too much. And you know, I'm glad that I can be sharing this out, because our island has so much to offer, and you know, not everybody knows about it unless we can get it, keep pushing it up onto social media and it coming, you know, on people's radar. There was a lady, I don't know if I said this in this broadcast or the other one. There was some people living opposite the bus station, the bus museum, who didn't even know it was there. You know, so although Shirley is doing a fantastic job with the social media, still people don't know. But also, not everybody is on social media, so you have to do all the other stuff as well. It was a good day, Tracy. It certainly was a good day. So that was that. But let's go now back to the beginning of the week. So do it all in reverse. So as I say, Tracy came over and gave me my boppers, and she gave me the Walk the White magazine. And I haven't really gone much through this. I know that Walk the White, people who were walking the white could travel on the buses free. I mean, I have a bus pass, so I got over to Freshwater, where it was towards the end of the route. And I was supposed to meet Tracy. You know, the idea was that Tracy and her family and I would connect, and we managed to miss each other, because I thought they were further back than they were, and they thought they would see me by the red bus, because I was going to be by the red bus, but then I'd forgotten to take my battery pack, which was pretty stupid. And so I had to go and plug my phone in the cafe. And where I'd plugged it in was right in the corner of the cafe, and they couldn't see when they looked through the cafe window. They thought, well, maybe she's in the cafe, and they looked through the windows and they didn't see me. And about 5 or 10 minutes after they'd gone past me, I rang them to see where they were, so that I could go out and see them coming. And they'd already gone past me. And of course, they were weary because they'd been doing the walk. I was only sitting around drinking coffee and taking video. And so they were further up. And there was no way that they wanted to hang around. They wanted to finish off, and I don't blame them. They wanted to finish the walk. So they suggested that I got on. Oh no, I suggested maybe I could meet them up at Allen Bay. So I was going to do that, but it was such a long wait for the bus, because they were few and far between. It wasn't Ryder Bus Day or Freshwater Bus Day. I don't think it works so well if you say like that, do you? Ryder Bus actually works much better. And so I was waiting for the bus, and about 6 or 7 minutes before my bus arrived, I could see it was coming on the app. Tracy rang me, but the signal was so bad I couldn't hear what she was saying. So we tried to ring again, and fortunately we connected, because what she was saying is, don't come to Allen Bay. She said it's absolutely packed out here, because everybody was finishing the walk there, and there were 9,000 people doing this walk, and they just wanted people out of the way as soon as they'd finished. She said, don't come here, we'll come to you. But what a good job I'd heard that she managed to get through to me. Otherwise I'd have been on the bus going to Allen Bay. Anyway, we linked up, we did hook up. So that was good. And so that was lovely. So that's a map of our beautiful little diamond island. So Ryde is here. That's where I live. And let's have a look. That's where Freshwater Bay is, over here. All right. So our Ryder bus was sort of around here, obviously, today. But there, you know, there was so much information in this booklet. There were the event timetables. It was all put out in here, because some people. So some people walked the whole route, which was 26.5 miles from Bembridge to Allen Bay, and it says that would take 8 to 12 hours. Then the start time, you could start anywhere between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. So obviously not everybody trying to do it all at the same time. because I'd never witnessed this before, so I didn't know how it all worked, and people were just coming through at various times, and I thought I suddenly realised that they all started off different. Hello, Andrew. Andrew is in the house. Hello, Andrew. So yes, so it says it in here. It tells them where to park. There was a park and ride at Isle of Wight College where they could leave their cars and then do the walk. And then of course that's all right. But if they've walked 26.5 miles and their car is at the beginning of that 26.5 miles and they've just walked, how are they going to get back to it? So there was a pickup, Allen Bay parking field on approach to the Needles. So they could get a lift, obviously, back. And there's all the information they needed there. And so it said, even if I had to crawl over the finish line, I would have for Nick and Mountbatten. And there's all different stories because this was for the hospice, and so people walking in memory of their loved ones. Tracy and her family were walking in memory of lovely Nikki, who used to run the Casey Kindness, set up the Casey Kindness charity when her daughter. Her life was cut short way too soon, and so Nikki ran that charity until, unfortunately, her life was cut short too soon. But you know, in memory, Tracy and her family did that, and most people on that walk, or a lot of people on that walk, would be doing it because they had personally had you know, friends who were in the hospice and whatever. But some people would do it just because they wanted to support hospice, and the hospice needs thousands and thousands of pounds, probably millions, to survive, but they do a fantastic job. It's a lovely bright hospice, and the emblem is sunflowers, which is wonderful. My mum loved sunflowers, and you know, just so bright and cheerful. So there was a lot of yellow around last weekend. And so on Monday I was chilling out because I'd done Riverfest, and I hadn't done Walk the White. I'd ridden a bus to observe the Walk of the White. I don't want anybody thinking that, you know, I'm claiming to walk the White when I didn't. I did support. I made a donation because that's what I can do, and so that was wonderful. So Monday, Tracy and the gang came over, sorted my clock out, sorted me out, and I had quite a rest day. Did I go out? No. Next Monday evening, I've got a meeting down at the local school, because opposite my house is a community centre, but it's a bit dead. It got overgrown. It had somebody who thought they owned it, and he wouldn't let anybody else ever have the keys or that sort of thing. When I first moved into this area, I didn't move here. I moved 3 doors along. My mum and dad bought the property 3 doors along, and they bought this property. So that was a house, and this is a flat. And I lived there, and my son lived here for a while. And then I moved. My son moved away, and they rented this out to somebody. But I moved from there to my mum and dad's house because my dad's health was failing, and I went and helped, you know, and I had the most, you know, I cannot put a price on this. I went and helped there, and I had my dad's last few months, or however long it was. I can't remember how long I was there, but I had that precious time with him where I was, you know, just caring for him, because it was difficult obviously for mum to do, and I could do it. So I went there, and then when dad passed, mum and I we clashed a bit. We're very much the same personality, and I would stand up to my mum, and my siblings don't. They are yes mum, no mum, 3 bags full mum. I'm like her. I would not be put on, you know, and I would stand my ground. And because I stood my ground, it caused a bit of an issue now. So living in the same house wasn't perhaps the best idea, but very generously, she allowed me to live here in this flat, and that was brilliant. And so, you know, I've been here for 2011. I came here. So how many years? And it will be in February 2011. So is that 14 years? Yes, I think so. If I think my maths is right. But anyway, 10.5 million each year needed to keep the hospice going. Thank you, my secretary, my PA. It's wonderful. Andrew's saying this event you're describing is like a walk we have in Scotland called the Kilt Walk. Yes, I've seen you talk about. I've seen you mention about the Kilt Walk. Small, medium, and a 23-mile walk. You can walk for any Scottish charity. 3 places in Scotland hold their yearly. Excellent. So, oh yes. So some people do the 26.5 walk. There's a flat walk. There's a school walk. There's all sorts of different walks, and that's why I was holding this brochure, because it was supposed to be prompting me, and then I totally forgot about it. So this was the 35th walk the White, and yes, look, there Red Funnel were doing a special offer on that. But the buses, there were some buses bringing people from the Newport bus station. When I got to Newport bus, so I would have to come from Ryde to Newport, and then from Newport across to Freshwater Bay. And while I was waiting at Newport for the second bus, I got into conversation with a daddy and his little boy, and it was quite chat. We had quite a chat, and then I said, "Oh, where are you going?" They said, "Oh, walk the White to Freshwater." So I thought, "Oh, we'd be on the same bus," and then actually we weren't, because what I hadn't realised was there were, and I don't think they'd realised it either, there was a shuttle bus just for the walkers, and that took them from there to Freshwater Bay, whereas I was on an ordinary bus that stopped at all the bus stops on the way. But I did see them later on. But the daddy, he knew who I was, and lots of people on the island know me as the Go Live Granny, but I don't necessarily know them. And apparently the daddy had photobombed me on one occasion, so that was fun. But I met up with them again, because they were going to Freshwater Bay to do the school walk. Yes, so the school walk was the last part of the whole thing, and so they could start at Freshwater Bay. I think it's a 4-mile walk, that one, and so they could walk. They could do that, and when I met them, I didn't know if I'd meet them again, and I met them. So on my not my profile picture, I think it's on my Go Live Granny page. I think there's a picture of me in my rainbow hat and my rainbow glasses with a little boy and his daddy, and those were the ones I met, and it was just so nice to link up with people who sort of had a connection in the past, and it was just such a wonderful day. And so this brochure is all about 35 years in the making, the walk that unites a community, and it really does. Everybody there is doing it for good reasons. Some of them are dressed up in hot costumes. I don't know how they can do it in those furry costumes or whatever. All sorts of different things. Lots and lots of people with sunflowers. Some people had sunflower leggings. Some people had sunflowers in their on their hats. Some people had sunflowers on their backpacks and things. It was just so lovely, and it was a beautiful sunny day as well. So that was amazing. So let's just push this on a bit. Whoops, hang on. So Andrew's saying he means 4 walks a year: Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dundee and Edinburgh. Brilliant, brilliant. Glasgow had the Slimming World Cancer Research Fun Run today in Glasgow city centre. Excellent. It's just so, so amazing that so many people will step up for so many charities. Without all these people doing all these good things, where would all these people be who need these services? It's just really, it's just shocking that we have to raise all that money and it's not available from somewhere to help people at that stage. But we live in great communities, don't we, where people do step up. And I was talking to the lady who is the finance office, does the finances for the bus museum, treasurer, I think that's what yes, that's what I meant to say, wasn't it? And we were just talking about, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. We were just talking about that's right, we were talking about community and how, and this is something you'll hear me bang on about all the time. When you work with community, you all work within the community, the magic happens. And there are people out there who don't get it. you know. And I remember when I was chair of Rye Business Association, which was not a job I ever wanted, but just fell into it, unfortunately, just to keep the place open. That's not my skill. Running an organisation like that, having to have committee meetings and notes and things like that, not my skill at all. I only did it to keep the Rye Business Association open. But I remember trying to link the community with the businesses, and one guy saying to me, this is a business association, what's it got to do with the community? I wonder where he was getting his customers from. I didn't even have the conversation because he was so obsessed with, actually, we don't want that. And I thought, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. If you can't see that community, working community gives you the magic, then I'm not interested. 15,000 people walked Glasgow Kilt Walk this year, either Sat or Sunday or both. I think we had about 9,000 walking the white, didn't we, Tracy? I think that's what it was. Now, Alexander's saying, how did Friday go at the old NatWest Bank? I know you mentioned it and I saw it advertised, but couldn't go. It was amazing. So we're just going to skip over to, because Alexander's brought it up. That was, one of the things I was going to talk about tonight. It was amazing. So some of you will know that I used to do help Jan Brooks with a warm hub, one of those spaces where people who might be feeling isolation, that sort of thing, can just come. It's a friendship, a place for friendships, for people being nice to each other. And they can just come and have a cup of tea. They can have, some biscuits. They can sit and chat. We can teach people to knit if they want to. We can play dominoes, except we can't play dominoes because somebody stole the dominoes from before with the organisation. But don't worry about that. I'm going to make sure we get some more dominoes. So there was all sorts of things happening. And Jan wanted to. We used to do it in Newport, and then that came to a natural close. And then we looked at a couple of places to try it in Ryde. Jan said she wanted to do it in Ryde, and we both live in Ryde, so it made it even easier. And so eventually she approached the town council, because the old NatWest building is now being converted to. It's not had its makeover yet, but before it has its makeover, we have started using that on a Friday morning. We started on Friday last week. This last Friday just gone. And in that preparation, we went to see it, and we spoke with the people, and Jan sort of was sorting out the side of it. They said, we could have the room for free. And then unfortunately, she'd got hold of the wrong information, and Jan got the wrong information initially. And then the lady came back to her and said, oh no, it's £20. So Jan said, well, I can't afford that. We're on pensions, and she couldn't afford to keep doing that every week. And she said, we can't do it. I said, oh, yes, we can. And this is where community works, because I've worked, with businesses and in the community and done lots of things in the past. And if you break things down, it's very easy to make things work if you work within the community. And so I knew what I'd done in the past, and these are the strengths I play to. Committee meetings and all that, not good. Doing something like this, that's where my skill lies. And so I said to Jan, don't worry. I said, we will go ahead. We'll book it in. If I haven't got the £20 from somebody by Friday, I will pay that. That will be my contribution. And so Jan had faith in me, so she booked it up. So on Tuesday, so my idea was to something like I did in the past. In the past, I used to at one stage I was selling children's books, but I'm also an ex-teacher, and I was also running a network group to promote businesses, just connect them. Not to. I don't want to earn money out of it, just to connect them so that businesses happen, and it's a win-win-win where everybody connects together. So I was trying to help the businesses. The schools didn't have enough books in them, and I also needed to earn some money, not huge money, just a little bit of money to pay my bills. I didn't want a fortune out of this. So I was bookseller. So my head said, right, okay, let's work this together. So the schools don't have any books. The businesses need, promotion. So what I did, I said, right, any of the local businesses, if you donate a book to a school, the school will have the book with a book plate in the front that says who's donated it. And I will promote you because you might have noticed I'm quite good on social media. That's where my skill lies. Not perfect, but quite good. So I can promote businesses on social media. The businesses get the promotion. They get noted, their business is mentioned in the front of the book. So any child using that book at any stage going home and the parents would see it, etc. And the children were getting more books, and I was selling a few books that actually helped me to survive as well. Win, win, win. So it worked. It worked brilliantly. And I didn't try and sell them £20 books or £50 books. I said, you can buy a £2 book. I think £2 was probably the cheapest book I had. But they were all still suitable for schools. I know, because I was a school teacher. Hello, Helen. There we go. I did used to do the Usborne books and used to come to primary schools and Sure Start. I used to go to the schools. Yes, I did. I don't think I did Sure Start, but I did go to the schools. So it was a win-win-win. It was amazing because everybody's so happy. The schools were happy they got the books. I was happy because I was able to earn a few pennies, and I wasn't going for a vast fortune because money doesn't float my boat. It's useful to pay the bills, but it certainly doesn't float my boat. Community floats my boat when they work together. And of course, the businesses were happy because I was going in their shops. If it was shops, I was going in their shops and taking pictures and putting it out on social media, and or just getting the word out there generally. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So another thing that I did later on, and as I say, these are my skills. This is not me being big-headed. I play to my strengths. As I say, I'm no good with paperwork. I'm no good with any of that sort of thing. This is where my strength lies. And so I did another thing when Aspire, which is it's a community. It's like a community centre. It's an old church that was decommissioned, and it's now become a community hub. There's all sorts of things going on there. Children's things, concerts have been in there. They've grown a garden, and they do food in there for people hungry. People in the community. I don't think there's too many rules on that. But they now grow some of the food in the garden. And it's not miles, it's not food miles, it's food footsteps, from the garden to and that sort of thing. Well, when that first started, and I know I told this story the other day, so I'm sorry if you've heard this story before, but we have new people all the time. And so what happened, Heath, who set the project up, he told me about it before it was opening, and he said, what we need is the first room decorated, because the idea was they didn't have a lot of funds for it, but he had a vision, right? And when you've got a vision, you work with people to make that vision work. And so he had this vision, and he said, well, once the first room is decorated, because it all needed decorating. When the first room is decorated, we can then hire the room out for parties or dance classes or things like that. But we need to get the room decorated. I was running a network group, and there were a lot of people in my network group, and so I just put out the word, and I said, some of them were tradies, but some of them were not. And I said, right, who is the Go Live? It wasn't the Go Live Granny community. I wasn't the Go Live Granny then. Not called the nickname, same person, but not the nickname. What was it? I was running a network group called White Buzz. White as in Isle of Wight, and buzz as because I used to buzz around. And so I messaged my tribe, my troop, and said, right, who's up for coming on such and such a day, and we're going to decorate this room. Can you wield a paintbrush? Can you come and scrub some, sand some skirting boards or whatever? and we had them come out. They came up trumps. They were brilliant. So I mean, we were, you know, we're not brilliant decorators, but done is better than perfect when you're starting out like that. So that was the mission. But the night before, he messaged me and he said, "Oh, it's a shame that I didn't get the tiles for the toilet walls." And so I said, "Well, what's the nature of the beast?" And then he started telling me how many square meters of tiles he wanted. I said, "No, no, no. I need to know how much it's going to cost. You know, that's how I can work. I don't understand square meters and all that, but I do understand if you need this much, then I understand it." So he needed 200 pounds for these um, £200 for these tiles. So to me, you don't go out and say, "Somebody, can you donate £200? What you do is you like when you eat. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Not that you would eat an elephant, but that's a sort of expression, isn't it? Little bits, tiny bits. So instead of wanting one person to pay 200, I said to my community, "Is anybody willing?" And again, I was going to promote the businesses or anybody if they wanted to. If anybody wanted to donate without being promoted, that's okay too. But you know, I will promote you if you put a donation in. And within 2 hours, I had, let's do the maths, I had 20 people all donating a tenner. That makes 200, doesn't it? I think so. And, you know, it's as simple as that. So my brain went into overdrive when Jan said, I can't do it if we've got to, if we've got to pay out of our own pocket. Leave it to me, Jan. And so on Tuesday, so I said, if I haven't got the first £20 by Friday, I'll pay it myself. Especially as it's pension day, I would have been able to do that. Anyway, so I was almost a bit gobsmacked at how quickly it worked myself. So I go to a one of these drop-in groups at the library on a Tuesday morning, and so that's the well-being group, and people can come along that. It's drop in, have a cup of tea, come with, do your knitting if you want to, just chit chat, whatever. The time bank also meets there for an hour of that time, and so you can come in and talk about time bank. And so there was a collective audience, and they were the sort of people who might actually want to go to that sort of event. And so I thought, it would be good to tell people about this. But before I told them about it, a friend of mine, somebody who used to be in my White Buzz group, Laura, she's lovely, and she used to be in my White Buzz network group. She was one of the people who came and helped decorate that room. I can remember her being there, and so I was telling her, she comes to that group because she brings a lady who wants to attend that group, and she's got that sort of role where she looks after that lady and brings her. And so I was telling her about the Warm Hub, and totally forgetting that she runs her own business as well. I honestly had totally forgotten that. She was there being like a carer to this lady. And so I knew she'd got a network of people she knew, especially in the business world, because she had a business and she'd been part of my group. And so I said to her, "Look, this is what we want to do." But I said, "I'm going to get the local businesses to donate a £20, or 2 businesses to donate a tenner each, or 4 businesses to donate a £5 each." I said, "But I will promote them whichever amount of money they pay, as long as we can get this Warm Hub going." And she said, "I'll pay the first week." I was gobsmacked. I could not, I really didn't think, I'm going to target you to pay this £20. My mind does not work like that. So she donated the first £20, and so week 1 was happening. And do you know what? It was the most amazing morning. It warmed the cockles of my heart big time, because what happened while I was at the wellbeing thing on Tuesday. Sorry, my brain just was thinking something else. I told the people who were in charge of the wellbeing group, I said, "Look, we've got a group, we've got a group starting on Friday, and some of these people might like to come there," because it wasn't conflicting with this group, so they might want another place to go on another day. And so one of them said, well, why don't you get up and tell everybody? So they gave me the platform to stand and tell them. So we did have a couple of people come from that group. Some of them were already doing something else on a Friday. They go to a group in Newport, and we don't want to take away from anybody else. We want to add to the, to benefit people. So that, I said, if you're free, that's fine. If you're not free, don't worry about it. If you already go to a group, that doesn't matter. Anyway, two of them did come, and then so wait a minute, let me think what I need to say. There was so much happened this week. So two of them came. The first lady through the door. Absolutely, Andrew. He's saying it's lovely to see businesses supporting the community. And of course, if you're a business that supports the community, it puts your business in a good light with the community, and that's a good thing. It's not the business owner being, well, I want to be out here doing this. It's not like that at all. People who do that sort of thing, people like to they would like to, if I knew that this shop was supporting that charity, I would even more want to go in that shop and, share my love with them, because they're sharing love in the community. And, I've so often said, this is how it works, community. And actually the lady I was talking to at the bus museum today, we sing from the same hymn sheet. I keep finding people singing from the same hymn sheet. We are becoming a tribe of the same sort of people. And it's just amazing. I was ill, obviously, for 2 years, not really sort of doing much in the community. I've got my strength back, and I lost weight as well. And I am just at that point where I can do this all over again. When will we be going again, do you think? When I go where, Susan? Do you mean to the hub? Remind me what you meant. Sorry. So I was absolutely thrilled to bits that so some of the people there, they said, oh, give us the posters. So I was able to ping them a poster across, and they were going to print posters. It was digital, but they were going to print them off and put them up and around. And that was just amazing how everybody wanted. So they were all the same sort of people in the room, you see, the people running the groups. And it just was wonderful to watch. It really warmed the cockles of my heart. And so one of the ladies who came in on Friday, the first lady in through the door, was brand new to the island. Ride Friday morning group. I won't be there this week, Susan. The group will be there, but of course I'm on family time this weekend, so I won't be able to be there. I will be there probably the next Friday. And so Jan was so thrilled when I messaged her and said, because Jan didn't know me when I was doing those sort of things before. I knew what I could do. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't think I could do it, but I knew what was possible. I didn't expect to have, by the end of the week, before the week got to the weekend, I had managed to finance 3 weeks from 3 different businesses, and some, because there's going to be some more money coming in from one of those businesses. It's just finding the same sort of people who think the same way and see, I want to do something for the community, not because I want to sit up on this big pedestal and everybody patting me on the back, but doing it for the right reasons. It's just amazing. And so I couldn't believe it. It was just getting better and better. So Friday, we had a few people there. So we had 2 from the group, the Tuesday group, 2 came there. And then somebody else came from the community that I know. And the only one I didn't know was the first lady who came in. But now I do know her, because she's come in and she said, I'm new to the island. I said, well, this is the perfect way to meet people. And then I told her about the other groups that she could join as well. So that was nice. She really enjoyed being there. And then one of the ladies needed to go and get something. And I'll tell you what it was. It was hay. She does some gardening in the allotment, and she puts hay. She does all sorts of organic stuff, and she doesn't like, she puts hay over If you're gardeners, you might understand what I mean. So she puts it on, but she has an allotment, but she doesn't have a car. She has a wheelie shopping trolley, not one that you push, one that you pull. And I say that for a reason. Navy Nora is very easy for me to push around because, you put the stuff in and you push and it's easy. She had to get some hay and she was going to the pet shop. And the pet shop is in Ryde Union Street and it's very steep. So she go down to the pet shop, which is not very far down, but then she's got to come up, back up. And we're all getting older and we all get more quicks and struggle more with these things. And so it was going to be an issue. And I said, what you need is, she's a member of the Time Bank. And in the Time Bank, we swap skills. We'll do what we're good at. So I do social media, for some things. And so I might do 2 hours social media. So my 2 hours gets banked. So in the bank, I've got 2 hours. And then I might want somebody to take some rubbish to the tip. Okay. And so it's not the same person who I've done a job for. It will be somebody else. Somebody else might be a driver and says, oh, I can take that to the tip for you. So they then deposit their time in the bank. And then it's taken off what time I've given. So if maybe they take an hour to go to the tip, I don't know, might do. So if I put an hour of social media time in, and then somebody does an hour's job for me, that's cancels that one out. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope I'm explaining it all right. So it's a skill swap, but no money ever changes hands. It's brilliant. So I could see she didn't need to go to the pet shop because somebody else could collect, but somebody else could actually go to one of the big stores where you could get a big thing of hay much cheaper than you'll pay in a little shop. Okay. And that to me, and the person, somebody volunteered to do it. I wasn't asking anybody to do it. I said to her, we need to find a driver from the Time Bank who will do that for you. And she was worried about having to be there and that. I said, no, doesn't matter. The driver could collect it and then meet you. You don't have to go with the driver to get it if you can't be doing it at the same time. The driver can get it and arrange to meet you with it. And these places put stuff in your vehicle. So even if you can't lift these things up, which was possibly the case in this scenario, the people at the pet place in Newport would actually probably lift that into the car. And then all they had to do was get somebody to lift it out at the allotment or whatever, because the person said, oh, well, I'll have to be home. And the driver said, can't I take it straight to the allotment and meet you there? Which meant that the person who wanted the hay didn't have to then load her stuff up and take it to the allotment. So can you see it's working it around the best possible way? Well, I did not expect an answer that a minute. When I said to her, we'll find somebody from the Time Bank, somebody in the room said, I can do that. And do you know what? This lovely lady who needed the help, but she didn't want to ask for help. She was trying to do it all herself. She just couldn't believe it. And she was very emotional because, and I'm not saying names because I want to really protect people's identities, who might not want this out there. So she was in tears, and they were happy tears because she said she'd had abusive background. Nearly all her life there'd been abuse in different areas, and she said, nobody's ever been this kind to me. We were almost all nearly in tears. It was just unbelievable. But it didn't stop there. It really didn't stop there. It was just so amazing because somebody else in that room had been suffering from mental health issues. Aren't most of us now, since COVID and the world's become such a horrible place, so many of us will have some sort of mental health problems at some stage. I mean, I've had them through my life. My life has not been smooth by any manner of means, but I think it's got 10 times worse since COVID. And there was somebody who had had got, you know, mental health issues. And Laura, and I'm going to sing her praises here big time, because she was the one who's donated, and she won't mind me mentioning her, because she was sponsoring the first event. And I saw this person get up and go into a side room, but where I was sitting, I couldn't see right across. I could see that the person went into the room, but I thought I was just on his phone having a call, probably because just didn't want to disturb the group. And then I saw Laura get up and go over there. She helps people with their mental health. That's her business, what she does. She runs Embracing Unique is her business. And she went over there. And I suddenly realised it wasn't just him taking a phone call. It was taking a phone call that had given him major issues, you know, very sad, something. And she clocked the situation, and she just went over there. She was with him for a little while, and he ended up coming back to the table. And, you know, some sort of magic went on there. You know, it's not magic, it's absolutely caring, a caring person. And I just, you know, this group was meant to start. It wasn't, you know, and the fact that, you know, Laura herself sponsored that week, but then she was there actually to do what she did, and she was just so kind. And I just saw it. I almost was in disbelief at how this day was panning out. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. I hope you're yes, that's it. So wait a minute, let's just go back there. So Susan's saying, oh cool, see if I can't make it at the end of the month if you're going to be there too. Yes, I'll let you know. I mean, it's just this coming Friday I can't do it. I had made I'd done a bit of crafting in case anybody wanted to do some crafting, and I decided, and I can't show you what I made because I've given it away, but I made a greetings card that was like a cuppa, like a cup and saucer. So, you know, so supposing this is like a card, you know, so maybe this is a card that opens that way, you know, and I cut it out. I've got templates, and I cut it out like a cup and saucer, you know, from my templates. And I did it all in pretty card. So I did it as a sample if anybody wanted to do it. And I had some that people could then, you know, they could cut them out themselves if they wanted to, or we could help them cut if they weren't great at cutting, whatever. It didn't matter. But actually nobody wanted to do that. Everybody was just content to chat and, you know, to work. That's fine. You know, we can have some dominoes, we can have cards and things. But actually, one of the other things I want to do is get some dominoes and some cards and things like that, because a bag was of that stuff that Jan had provided out of her own pocket to that group that we did on a Friday, and somewhere between where our equipment was stored, either at the Newport place or at another place that it was stored at, that a bag got stolen of those things. And, you know, Jan was upset because she said she funded that herself. So what I might do is see if a member of the community might donate, or if I ask, some people might have some dominoes they don't want locally. So, you know, we've got them on the island, or a pack of playing cards, or some crochet stuff. I mean, I could probably find crochet hooks and crochet and wool. A lot of this is wool in here. I'm sure I can donate some of my wool. In fact, one of the ladies in the room has been making twiddle muffs for charity for people with dementia, but she hadn't got any wool. And I know that, you know, she probably didn't want to go out and spend money that she needed for herself. So I said, oh, I'll come with wool next time. So I'm going to see her before I go on the mainland. So I will make sure I get some wool out of here to give her for her twiddle muff. So that, you know, and it was just amazing. When you work together with community, magic happens, you know. And it's just, I really I couldn't predict what's going to happen. I know when you work together like that, things work, but I didn't know that that would work so well on Friday morning, our first morning there. And bingo, it was amazing. So, you know, I just am so pleased that we could do it and and we're working to our own skills. You know, that's the thing. Jan has been very good, you know, at helping people not to feel excluded. She used to run Isle Access, the charity, and she's got the skills. She's got lots of skills in that sort of thing, and was very keen on all inclusive. You know, making nobody feel like they didn't belong or all that sort of thing. And it just is just, you know, it's just so amazing that and I connected with Jan. I watched her years ago when she was starting Isle Access, and she told us, you know, the community. She would say how much money was being lost to tourism because information about disability for information to help people with disabilities was not available to people coming to the island. Now, we might be the most accessible, we're not necessarily, but we could be the most accessible place for people to come on holiday. But if you don't tell anybody that that information is there, you will lose all that tourism, because if Cornwall's got it on their website, you know, if Yorkshire's got it on their website, where are people going to go on the holiday? They're not going to sit and try and research it all if somebody's got the information. And so we were losing thousands of pounds. And Jan, she did courses and research and that, and she ran her charity, I think, for about 9 years. Sadly, she wasn't able to do it anymore because she was she hit a patch of her health was more important, and that and sadly it's not been picked up, the charity, and it needs to be picked up, and somebody needs to run with it. The cycling, the all-inclusive cycling and the all-inclusive swimming has been picked up, but the rest hasn't, and I want to work on that and see if we can't find a way of that carrying on. I'm pretty excessive. Sounds like a plan. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I just sent Domino. It just said Domino's, Susan. Wait a minute, hang on. Did I miss a bit there? Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. I've missed loads of comments. Sorry, folks. So Richard says I'm explaining clearly. Good. So Richard's booked the October trip in addition to September visit. So be on the island at September the 10th to the 15th and October the 10th to the 13th for the rider. Last weekend. You have Domino's and large cards. Oh, wow, that's amazing. So you can post them on Monday. And Susan's saying that their crib group will be getting rid of some of them at the end of the month if you would like decks. Wow. Oh, my goodness. I hardly even got the words out of my mouth, and my community is coming up trumps. You are amazing. You know, but you know, as a community, we are amazing. We are playing to our strengths and working together. It's how it works. That is amazing. Do you know what? I've nearly got tears in my eyes here, folks. This is just wonderful. So you just send Domino's. Oh, right. So Richard will send the Domino's and Susan will. Yeah. So sounds like a plan. And Richard's saying, I'm pretty accessible. I tried to be accessible. He meant. He didn't mean me. He meant the island was accessible. Yes, it is reasonably accessible, Richard, but we need to tell people who don't know. And, you know, we need to keep getting that information out there. And, you know, that information could help. You could help run. Yes, I don't know how we do that, Richard. So I just keep putting the word out there because this will pan out how it's supposed to. So the more I put the word out, the more people will hear it, and you know, and it's how the networking works. You know, it's like telling one person and then they'll tell the next person, and the person who actually runs the charity in the future might be 6 steps away. It might be this person who told that person who told that person who told this person, who's now this person over here says yes, I'll do it. So it's just incredible. And so, you know, that was great. But I told you I got more than 1 week already paid for the group. So what happened next? So on Friday, I went out of the group when I'd finished there. I went across the road, and Isle of Wool is only spitting distance from where we were in the NatWest. So I went in to see Helen because I'm always dropping in there because I just love being in a wool shop. You can't imagine, can you? And I just love chatting with her. She's a local business. She needs all the help. They all need all the help they can get. Their business rates have just been shot up. Some of them are paying the business rates, and if they're a cafe or something like that, they're paying the business rates and the white bid levy. So that's two taxes on their businesses. Fortunately, Helen's not, because retail were taken out of the vote. And so I was telling her, I said, we've had the first week sponsored. And you see, by telling people, I'm not directly targeting people. I'm using them to network it. So this person will know that person who will know that person, and they might make a remark, and then this person over here says, oh, I'll sponsor it, or, that sort of thing. Anyway, I said to Helen, this is how it's going to work. And I might want 4 people to do a £5 each, because I don't want to take lots of money off people who are struggling for custom, but let's make this work. And she said, I'll sponsor next week. So there we had week 2, and that was brilliant. And so, and then I went further up the town. Did I swear? Oh yes, I'm on the naughty step. Sorry. What was it I said? I said, I think I referred to something I don't really want to refer to. Yes, the naughty word. Right, okay. And moving swiftly on. So I then went further up the town, and I went to went to see Rob at the Star. Was that? I'd been to see Rob earlier in the week. So I'm still on Friday, but I'm going to hop back to Tuesday and Wednesday in a minute. Can't remember, actually. I don't remember. I remember everything. I need somebody to make notes of my week as I go along, Tracy, because you will remember more what I do than I do. So anyway, so I went further up the town, and I went into the Star Coffee and Ale House. I find that difficult to remember. The Star Coffee and Ale House. That's right. And Rob and Leslie have done the most amazing job there. And they are levy payers, because it's a cafe come pub, so that's on the levy list. Anyway, I mean, I don't just go to businesses that are levy payers. I go to the others. So Helen's not a levy payer because retail were removed from that's right. Retail were removed from the vote because when it first started, it was realised that actually, when it was going to ballot, the supermarkets would not want to pay a levy. And so that all the retail was removed, because you can't just remove the supermarket. And that's why none of the retail people pay, only the hospitality pay. So anyway, Rob is on the list, and I was chatting away to him and taking photographs around his. He's got so much in that coffee and ale house, and it's amazing. I did a live stream in there the other day, and there's so much fun stuff in there. But he's very charity orientated, and he does fundraising. He has a quiz every Monday night, and they do it for different things. And actually, let's just go there. This came after the conversation that I'm going to tell you before, but he said we'll do some quizzes to raise funds to keep that going a bit more. But I'd already earlier, so he said that to me on Friday night. But earlier in the day, because I went into his place and I went out again, went somewhere else, and then went back to him later on, just like you do. I can't stay away from the town and all the lovely people. And so that's right. I know. I went in because on Saturday I was going to go on a pub crawl. Do you remember I said I'm not a drinker, but I call it a pub crawl. It was he had arranged, he'd booked a coach to take people from near where his place is, and we were going to go to Arreton Barnes, where the Dairyman's Daughter pub is, and we were going to spend some time there. And I presume I could get coffees in these places because I don't drink. So, you know, and so I was going to go there, and then we were going to go from Arreton Barnes to the Sportsman in Porchfield, which is another pub. And then we were going to go back to the Dairy Mills Daughter later and end up back in Ryde later on. And I just thought, you know, this would be nice to get to know some people around, some other people around. And also it would get me to 2 of the levy payers as well, wouldn't it? Because those are both on the levy list. And so that's what we were going to do. But I noticed on Thursday that he had said on social media that if he didn't get anybody else to book, they would have to cancel it. So so Tracy's saying she didn't know about bee boppers here, but I need rabbit boppers. All the hopping about I do. Absolutely. I nearly put my rabbit ears on today, but I didn't. And then when I was at the down at the bus museum, I saw somebody come in with rabbit ears or donkey's ears or whatever they were, and I said, "Oh, I should have put mine on." You like that place, Coffee at the Ale House? Yes, Richard knows it because he comes to the island. And so, oh, Tracy put me on the naughty step. Look, dear oh dear. Anyway, so I went. That's right. I went into this the Coffee and Ale House, and to check whether the event was on or off. So I was doing this on Friday, and so he said no, he's had to cancel, but he will do it. He will do it a bit later on, you know, and get more publicity to it. And so he gave me it was £10 to go on it, and I thought that was good for having a lift round and getting me to these places that would take me forever to get to on a bus. And I'd got all the companionship of all the people that would be on the trip. So I got my £10 back, and I said, do you know what? I said, I'd already spent this money. So what I'm going to do, I said, this is what I said to Rob. I said, I'm going to put this down in your name as a sponsor for half of next week, you know. And somebody else not running a business had also offered a £10. So there we go. We had next week. So see, to me, I had already thought, well, I've spent that £10. So why would I bring it back when I could actually do something like that? You know, but you know, so Rob was, you know, happy with that. He was quite busy at the time, so I don't know, you know, how much he was taking, but he knew what I was doing. But then, so that was okay. But you see, then later on that night, when I actually stayed in town, so I went into town for 9:15, and I didn't get home till. Oh, I had to get home by 7 o'clock. That's right. That was a shenanigan of the week. The week had gone so well until Friday night, and I'd gone into Iceland to do a quick bit of shopping. But in Iceland, you can get, if you spent over £25, you can get them to deliver to you. You don't have to pay a delivery charge. So they said, "Do you want 5 to 7 or 7 till 9?" I said, "Oh, well, it's afternoon now. I better go 7 till 9 because I know what I'm like. I'll be chatting." So I chose the 7 to 9 slot. Well, my goodness, I wasn't home at 7. But it wasn't my fault I wasn't home at 7. I tried to be home by 7 because I sort of ended up sitting and I know what I'd done. I'd nipped, because I was still in town, I'd nipped into there to use the loo because we're a bit short of loos. We're getting better in Ryde, but a bit short of loos. And I thought, oh, before I go home, I'll just see if I can nip in. So I nipped in to use the loo. Rob didn't mind because he knows me well. And, you know, and they don't like the public keep coming in and using the loos, but, you know, it was me. It was okay. And so on my way out, they were chatting and somebody else was chatting there. And it turned out that the person that they were chatting with was somebody I had met from one of the bands when I was doing live streaming of the bands and the carnivals. And I remember we'd had a conversation about corruption. And I can't think what organisation I might have been talking about. But then this person told me about corruption in another organisation I know. And it didn't surprise me. So anyway, I remembered that conversation while we were waiting for, before the Shanklin Carnival years ago. And so there was a bit of that sort of, energy that we knew each other. And so I stayed chatting, and then eventually we went. We Rob Rob had a member of staff now who was behind the bar because he'd been behind the bar before, but there was a member of staff there who was taking the orders. So he was now sitting down with us, and then Leslie was there as well. They've just celebrated their first wedding anniversary. They've been together for years, but they celebrated their first wedding anniversary. And actually, what I did, because I couldn't go the other day to their event because I was at Riverfest, they were having an paper anniversary event all day at the coffee house, and I couldn't make it. But of course, I just made this card, hadn't I? This card that was like a cup. So to me, that was like a coffee cup, and it was papery. So it was paper anniversary. So I signed the card up and gave it to them just because I could. I thought it was a bit of fun, and Leslie loved it when she saw it. I didn't see her until after she'd seen it, but she said, "Oh, that was so nice." It was just a little gesture, sometimes the smallest gestures, well, that's what you can do, and people appreciate it. And I know I appreciate some of the smallest things, like Stephen doing my clocks and Stephen moving that chest. That it wasn't a chest of drawers; it was plastic drawers, and those things are so precious to me. The fact that that job was done for me, and now I can have that where I wanted it to, without having to struggle to do it. Those, sometimes something like that is far more precious than some great expensive present. That's how I roll. Much more like that. And it was just now I'd been sitting looking at those things, and I managed to move one of them, but the other one would have to lift up off the floor. The other one I'd sort of managed to slide easily, and I just then got tired and didn't do the other one. But that was just magic. So I'm really pleased like that. And that's why the time bank's going to work well for me, because somebody doing a little job, and I can do a little job for somebody else. It just it just works well, doesn't it? So anyway, yes. So I'd sat down and chatted, and then we were going into long chats about things, and some of it was about corruption and some of it was about other things. And then I suddenly realised, oh gosh, I need to be home by 7 o'clock. So I ring Ride Taxi, and they can't give me a car until 7:10. I rang at 6:30, and usually I ring and I get a taxi and say, well, oh my goodness, now I'm thinking, oh, the shopping's going to get there and I'm not going to be there. And so I tried to ring my neighbour. One of my neighbours has got a key, and he answered his phone, and then it went dead. He said, hello, Lynn, and then it went dead. So I tried to ring him and it went into answer phone, and I tried to ring him again and it went into answer phone. And I thought, well, since I've had pneumonia, and I was so ill, at death's door, anything that's a bit like that, I say to myself, is it life-threatening? Is it life-threatening if my shopping arrives and I'm not there? No, it's not. So I'm not going to worry about it. But I thought, let's see if I can solve it. But anyway, long story short, the taxi was later. The taxi arrived late. One of the days when I ordered a taxi? Oh no, that was the next day. No, it was that day, I think. Whatever. One of the days said, we can't find your cab. Sorry, we can't. There's a thing you can click on, a link that you can click on the app, and it tells you whether your car's on its way or whether it's not on its way yet. And so I think what happened, because I'm muddling two events here now, I think that's when it said, that's right, because I rang up. It said, sorry, we can't find your car. Do you know, it only happens to me. Right, that's 2 Sundays on the trot that I'm buzzing about the day I've had. Excellent, Tracy. It is. It's marvelous, isn't it? Just life. Well, you should be buzzing because you got buzzy. Look, buzzing. I'm buzzing too. um, and so yes. So I rang up and said, look, you said the car was going to be here at 7:10, and it's telling me you've lost my car. Sorry. Anyway, long story short, it eventually turned on. And I was trying to think, when you do online delivery, they usually confirm the order and then they usually ping you when they're on the way. And I couldn't remember whether if I'd done it in the shop, whether I got a message pinging me to say such and such is on their way, and they give you a time slot of when they're going to arrive. Because originally it's a 2 hour time slot, and then they give you an hour. Down they say 7:26 or something precisely, between 7:26 and 8:26 or whatever it is. So anyway, there I had not. I think. So anyway, eventually the car came. But that was a bit of shenanigans, and oh, I'd had a car earlier on. Oh, I must tell you about the incident earlier on in the day because that was magic too. So I because I was silly and left something at home. Right, I'll come back to that. So the taxi driver got me home, and the shopping hadn't come. And then I noticed actually that I had a message pinged that said it was going to whatever time it was going to be, and so it was okay. And in actual fact, I hadn't come in. As I was about to come in, I saw a neighbour. And I've been on the mainland a lot of time, and several of my neighbours have said, "Oh, we hadn't seen you for a long time. Are you okay?" And I keep saying to them, "Did you think I died?" None of them have admitted that they thought I'd died, but I was very ill, wasn't I? So, and these things happen. Well, let's hope it doesn't. Touch wood. Let's hope it doesn't happen too soon. but so I was chatting to her, and also reminding her that we've got a meeting about the community centre that's opposite my house. That's went to rack and ruin, is being brought back into the community, and the town council have got a meeting about it down at the school on Monday. And I wanted to make sure that the neighbours knew, because we want everybody's ideas as to what it's not what I think that should be. We all need to pool the ideas and see. And it's right opposite this lady's house, and she said it's devaluing our house at the moment. I said, well, come and have a conversation, and come to the meeting and have a conversation. So I think I've persuaded her to come, and I think other people down the road are coming. So let's hope there are some people, and we get some good input. I would love to help local people craft if they want to. And it's right opposite the house, not right opposite my house. It's opposite next door's house. I've got the green opposite me, but just if I was a bit further there, I would have this bit of an eyesore in front of me. But also, when I look out here, I'm sitting on 2 garages, so I actually look across the green and right across to Binstead Hill. I can see out of my window. So because I'm on the first floor, so to speak, I actually am not looking out at that horrible thing. I can see it, but I tend to look over and above it. But it will be nice, so that's good. So anyway, long story short, I was standing talking to my neighbour, and so I hadn't actually come upstairs to have to go back downstairs to get my shopping delivery in. I was still standing outside when the man came, so that was fine. But actually, going back to earlier on in Friday, I had been, obviously I'd been at the event in the morning, and then I'd spent time having coffee up at the Star, and then I realised I'd brought my be dangerous with the brain. I bought my extension, my cable for charging my phone, but I had forgotten to bring the battery pack. And I wanted to do lots more networking around the town. Oh, I know what it was. I was sitting in the Star earlier in the day, sort of after I'd been to the hub, and some people came in and came in and ordered drinks, and I just said hello to them because I do that. You never know where a conversation leads to when you just start saying hello, and the chap said hello, and basically the conversation went on. They were tourists. They had arrived for a 3-day cycle holiday on the island, and as they got onto the island, something went wrong with his partner's bike. And so I don't know, I think they Googled it, and Tav Cycles is just a bit further up from the start on the other side. And this guy was singing their praises because he'd gone up there with the bike, and because they knew that these people were on a 3-day cycling holiday. You rather need a cycle for a cycling holiday, don't you? So they made it a priority to get that cycle sorted again. That cycle business, that business has been there for many years, and obviously I don't cycle, so I didn't know much about it. I recycle, but I don't cycle. And I didn't know much, but I was delighted to hear that there were tourists singing the praises of our local businesses. Singing the praises of the island because they wanted to have a beautiful cycling weekend, and lots of people do come for cycling weekends, but also singing the praises of the business up there. So I thought, do you know what? I need to go up to that business up there and say, well done. I've just heard what a great service you've done. Because I think people need to tell people when they do that sort of thing. And so, but I couldn't do any photographs or live streaming or anything like that if I didn't have battery power. And I realised I hadn't got my battery pack. So I decided that before I went up to the cycle shop, I would get a taxi, go home, pick up my my battery pack and go back. So I'd only booked the taxi to go home, and I thought, well, I might be a few minutes at home rather than that. But actually, so the taxi arrived. That one arrived quickly. That was good. And as I approached, the female taxi driver said, "Hello, Lynn." Well, I didn't think much of it. I couldn't see very well. I don't know if she had sunglasses. I think she had sunglasses on. And I didn't think much of it, because I've had quite a lot of female drivers who I've asked them their name. They might have asked me my name. So I thought, oh, it's one of those. And she said, she took her glasses off and she said, "You don't recognise me, do you, Lynn?" And you know what? It was, so Laura, I said Laura sponsored the event, the coffee, the first room hire. Well, Laura was in my network group. Nikki, who was driving the taxi, I never knew she was a taxi driver because I haven't seen her for years. She was in my network group, and they became great friends, Nikki and Laura. They have lost more touch with each other, but it was so funny that I've just been back in touch with Laura, and suddenly Nikki arrives on my scene as well. And she's only been a taxi driver for Ride Taxis for 2 weeks. And there she was. So she took me home, and I said, well, I'm going to get the battery pack. I really want to go back to town. She said, I'll wait for you and I'll take you back. So we had enough time to have quite a good conversation in that time. So that was really nice. And so once I got the battery pack, then I plugged my phone in, and I was good to go straight away. I can charge up in so I got the wire, but I hadn't. This is the wire. I'm plugged in to mains at the moment, but this is the wire. So I had the wire, but I didn't have the battery pack to put it in. So I was able to then put it in and go up, but I could have charged the phone up in the Star, because they actually have a system where you can charge your phone, but it was a without this wire. I think you had. I can't remember what I had to do, but it was slow, very slow charge, and I actually wanted to be charging on the go. I wanted to be going up to the shop and doing that, and then doing whatever else I needed to do. So so that's why I went back for my battery pack. I knew I couldn't survive in town without battery. I was on the red bit of the battery, and you know, for Go Live Granny, that is not a good look. So I actually need to buy myself a second battery pack, so that what I do is when one needs charging at home, I put the charged one straight back in my bag and keep the uncharged one charging at home. That's what I need to do, because I used to have two battery packs when I was doing all the live streaming and all the carnivals, you know, years before we got to COVID and all that stuff. I just needed that amount of battery charge. But then one went wrong and I didn't replace it because I wasn't doing so much. But I need to get a second one now. You know, it really does. What's Richard's saying, Tracy, that's good that you had a good day. And Tracy's saying, like today when you attached lead to the back. Yeah, yes, I'd be dangerous with the brain. Tracy saw me attach the lead to my battery pack, but I forgot to plug it into my phone. I said, oh dear, I better put this in here and it will work better. You know, you see these things and you know, well, I never pretend to be anybody I'm not. You know, there's no point in that. What you see is what you get. And all these crazy, wacky things. But, you know, probably if you didn't like me so much, you know, you wouldn't watch my broadcast. Well, I'm trying to pat myself on the back thinking you like me. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, so that was that. But I had... So wait a minute. So let's see. So on Tuesday... So we're nipping back to Tuesday now because I have had such a busy week. So on Tuesday, I did have shenanigans on Tuesday. I thought I'd got to the end of the week without shenanigans, but I had shenanigans on Tuesday because, you know, it had been a busy day and I'd been in Ride and I'd been in town doing all sorts of things. You love me. Oh, she loves me. So wait a minute. What happened with the taxi from Busy Bee? I'll tell you that in a minute, but I'll tell you about the other taxi first. So Heather says that she loves me, my friend. Thank you. Well, I hope to make you laugh. My daughter said the other day, oh, Mum, you do make me laugh. And I just thought, oh, that's good. Mission accomplished, because if we can have a giggle, that's what it's all about. And, you know, so anyway, so Tuesday, I had been out and about in town and doing all sorts of things. I got home late, had to quickly have tea because I'd been in town chatting and networking and things, and you know, whatever I do. And I then got home, and the town council meeting was at 7 at Network Ride, which is an old church that has been decommissioned and is now where they run a youth group, Network Ride, out of there, and it's an amazing building, and they're doing some amazing stuff in there. And but the town council meeting was there, and I was going to live stream it, so I booked my taxi in time to get there, and then my taxi was late. That's it. It was late, so I had to ring up and say, why is my taxi not on its way? Well, actually, what had happened, the taxi driver, it was a lady taxi driver again, and she had somebody who'd had some issues, okay, and so I don't know what sort of issues, perhaps anxiety, I don't know, but obviously that was not, you know, I was not going to throw my toys out of the pram because the reason was that somebody had some issues. So I got over that. That was okay. It wasn't life-threatening to me or anything like that. So anyway, we're heading out, and we think, well, we might just, because I'd allowed extra time, I thought, right, we might just get there in time, because I wanted to video the town council meeting, because people need to see these things, and the town council is not arranging to do it, although it should be done. All these public meetings should be out there. Anyway, so of course, what happened? She says, oh, well, there is a problem with the traffic on something to do with Queen's Road, but she didn't know which way. Queen's Road had been shut one way, and she didn't know which way it is. Normally, we would go down Queen's Road. So we're not knowing which is the right way to go. So, of course, we picked the wrong way, didn't we? Instead of turning right and going that way, we went so instead of going out this way and round, we went this way and round. So we're trying to get over there, and we could go either way. We went this way because we thought that would be the best way, and guess what? We got it wrong. And there, the island roads were digging up Queen's Road, and we couldn't go down it. So we then had to go back to the other. We had to go beyond Queen's Road to the road we would have gone down if we had come the other way. And I arrived at Network Ride, and then there was no door open. And of course, I'm a bit slow getting in and out. So I said to the taxi driver, can you just see whether there's a door open that I can get in? Because otherwise, am I in the right? But it didn't look like I was in the right place because the doors were all shut and no notice on the door. So she went out and she looked, and it was the door. The door was closed, but it had no sign on it. But she checked, and that was where I needed to be. And so then, she got my Navy Nor out the thing and taxi, and I went in, but I was 10 minutes late, and I missed the public question time, which is sometimes the most crucial bit to get, finding out what people are asking the town council and what they're saying. Our town council is pretty good, and they do some pretty good things, but I wanted to get that bit, but I missed it. So I then arrived late, but that was a shenanigan on Tuesday. But anyway, so I think apart from that, we did live stream that, and then I got home. I suppose I booked a taxi. I can't even remember that. So Wednesday, I've forgotten what I did on Wednesday. Oh, let's skip on, shall we? It doesn't matter. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. So I know that Tracy wants to know what happened at Busy Bee. You're back home from Alfie's, right? Okay, I'm still here. So hang on. So, wait a minute, I missed it. So Heather said she loves your friend. Tracy said, if we weren't friends, I wouldn't have thought about you getting on the bus today, even after your foot in your mouth to the poor man. Oh yes, I'm not going to repeat that, Tracy. That was a bit of a boo-boo. I'm not going to say something like that. So we know what happened, but anyway, Susan says, we're friends. I love watching your broadcast, and even better if we catch up in person. Excellent. And Steve's now home from Alfie's, and he was wondering if everyone was still here. Yes, we're still here, and they're hearing about all my shenanigans of the week. I thought I'd gone through the week until Friday without shenanigans, and then I remembered I had shenanigans on Tuesday with taxis and things. But it just happened, and that was okay. So anyway, Friday. No, it wasn't Friday. It was Saturday. It was Saturday. Saturday at Busy Bees, wasn't it? It's now. Tracy's saying, still here, Steve. It's now Monday. He says he can catch up the middle if you miss tomorrow. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Hang on. If that makes sense. Yes, I know what you mean, Steve. Do you know what? I love you. You're a wonderful audience, and you just put me on. If I wasn't already on a high, you put me on a high again. It's just amazing to have such wonderful people around me. Whether you're my friends actually in real life, I don't mean in real life. What I mean is in person. That's what I mean, isn't it? So if I know you in person, like Tracy, obviously, and Susan, they live here on the island. Steve says, "Oh, that you will love me too." Excellent, but it's just an amazing place, and it doesn't matter. Like that guy who told me I was rubbish because I didn't have 3 million viewers. Do you know what? Could you imagine what the comments would be like if I had 3 million viewers? I put him right. I put him in his place and said, I'm a granny of 74. I don't want 3 million viewers. I would not be able to talk to them personally. And I love that fact that I can talk to you like that. Let's see. Hang on. Simply because. That's it. See, I was right. It will be Monday. Except she's put, see, I was 8. And that confused me for a minute. But I think it says, see, I was right. It will be Monday. He's rubbish too. Yes, he was, and I put him in his place, and then he shut up and went away. You really cheer me up, Lynn. Excellent. Mission accomplished. That's what we do as a community. This is a safe place. This is where we make, I can say the daftest things. I can put the daftest things on my hat, on my head. If it makes you laugh, that's good, isn't it? Excellent. So, I just like doing it, and I love you chatting to me. I live on my own, and I could talk to myself. I'd get the answers I wanted, but I wouldn't get the interaction, would I? So, it's just so nice, and just such an amazing community, and all came out of the lives. I wouldn't be doing this if a certain organisation hadn't been corrupt. Not mentioning it because it's a rude swear word, but I only. I actually, to be honest, I was live streaming a bit before. But then, of course, I took off at 1,000,000 miles an hour live streaming when my son showed me how to do it for promoting the Isle of Wight. So I think we have corruption to thank for this. This only came out because of the corruption. If you want to know, you want me to explain that more, then message me, because I'm not wanting to say too many things. I've got people watching me who know I've got my BDI on them, okay, and it is what it is. But I'm not going to just say too much. If you want to know more, then get in touch with me. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but who cares? Lovely watching your broadcast, but love meeting up, even if there is shenanigans. Even today we had a moment of shenanigans when the poor bus broke down. Oh yes. when Tracy had said, "Oh, come on, we'll get you on this bus," and they did. We were only just a little bit down the road, and the bus stopped. They said, "We've got an issue." You'll see it because I was live streaming at that point. I'd got a signal, and it on the live stream it says, "Oh, we've got an issue." And so I didn't know if we were going to have to get off and walk. And I don't forget, I hadn't got my walker with me because they were looking after it back at the depot. Oh dear. So anyway, I don't know what it was. I don't know if you know what it was, Tracy, but one of the guys got off, walked to the back. They said they'd had an issue earlier, got off, walked to the back, and then came back and got on and said, "It's okay." And off we went. Dear, oh dear. But yes, so let's flip to Saturday, because I can't remember what happened on Wednesday. Perhaps I had a day at home. I need some days at home because I have got hundreds of photographs and hundreds of videos that all need loading up. I've got all the videos that I'm taking down every day from Facebook, because Facebook's going to get rid of all our videos. The ones I do like this now on StreamYard, I don't have to download these ones because they're loading to YouTube at the same time as they're showing on Facebook, so they will be there on YouTube. So I don't have to download them and upload them to YouTube. Thank goodness. But all the ones I used to do years ago, and I used to do so many of them. Sometimes I do 3 or 4 live streams a day. Not all this length, I can tell you. They were shorter. And I can only find them at the minute by actually clicking on my Facebook memories on the day. So every morning now I go through, and I've got my old White Buzz Facebook page there when I ran my White Buzz group. I've got I had one called Lilac Lil when I had Lilac Lil before Navy Nora. She had a page of her own. I did something for my brother's group of mine, my brother's group. I live streamed on umpteen different pages of Facebook. So this is we're going to lose some of them. There's no way I will catch them all. But you could have overload of Go Live Granny. I wasn't called Go Live Granny all the way through. Somebody nicknamed me that, later on. But so I'm trying every morning. I'm clicking on memories, and then looking down 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's giving me all these. And where there's a video, download. And sometimes the download button is here, and sometimes the download button is up there, just to confuse me even more, just in case I got into a lull of knowing where all the buttons are. They changed them. Oh dear, oh dear. So it's a nightmare. But anyway, so So that's what I'm doing. So these ones that I've done today on Facebook, I shall download them. I shall try and download them straight away, because actually any that go up now, I think as they go up, they're gonna delete them in 30 days. That's what they say, and that's what Shania told us. She was in the broadcast earlier on, and she said she thinks we've got, if we do one now, or yes, we've got 30 days, or I think yes. So if we're doing them now, that we got 30 days, and I think after July, I said what would happen. Are they still going to have live stream? And if we live stream, are they going to disappear straight away? And I think that's what she meant. We'll have 30 days and then do it. But what I need to do is start shifting over and doing them on YouTube, because if I do them on YouTube, they're loaded straight onto YouTube. I don't have to do anything else with them. And that's it. And I'll just go in and put in the blurb underneath after the broadcast over, because if I want to put links into anything, if I'm doing something like a charity in the Rider Bus today, I would want to put in their links so that you could click on and find more about the bus museum and that sort of thing. But that's not difficult. That's much easier. But who knew all those years ago when I started doing this that I was going to be having to try and capture all my lives? I can't find a way to find where they are. And I've looked on YouTube, but I haven't had much time at home to even look on YouTube to find out. So there was something came up on my Facebook page, and it says you could download these together, all these ones. So I did it, and it did something, and it fiddle, and then it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me do it, and I thought, well, what's the point of that? It says you can do it like this, and then it wouldn't load them. It wouldn't load. What a nightmare. So anyway, just have I missed yesterday's shenanigans? You went out and made a coffee. No, I must have known that you were going to make a coffee, and I got distracted onto something else. You were catching up all the Facebook live shows the professional drag queens did from their living rooms during lockdown. Oh wow, they're going to vanish. I bought disco lights from Amazon and had wait a minute, had fab Saturday nights at the time. Amazing, isn't it? What we did in COVID and lockdown. Amazing. We got very resourceful, didn't we? Anyway, Tracy's back now. I didn't know by the powers of magic. I think I must have diverted onto something just so she didn't miss the shenanigans. So yesterday, I decided that I need to get some new clothes because I'm shrinking. I'm a shrinking violet. But I have lost over 3 stone. And when I had lost the first stone, I bought some clothes, and some of those clothes are now too big. Some of the trousers are very baggy because I've now lost another 2 stone. And I don't want to walk around the town and suddenly my trousers fall down, because that would not be a pretty sight. Even though I've lost weight, that still wouldn't be a pretty sight. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to Busy Bee. Busy Bee's a garden centre, but it does have a concession. A clothes concession downstairs, Class, KLASS, which is a fashion brand for lovely ladies. I don't know. Do they do men's stuff? I don't know. I didn't look to see. No, I don't think they do. I think it's lady stuff. Anyway, they also have in there bedding, but actually they're not going to have it much more. But because they're not going to have it much more, I got myself a bargain, right? So I live on my own, but I have a lovely double bed, and it's great because I can be wherever I like in the bed. But I used to have a double duvet on it because it was a double bed, and then I had shenanigans with the duvet because I can only get out one side. This side, I've got things down this side. I can only get out that side, and I'm just realizing I'm going to have to mention the toilet word in a minute. So I would need to get out to go to the toilet. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who have to get up in the night now, which I never used to before. Too much information, all right? So I would find it easier to push the duvet off that side, down the side of the bed, but then I'd trip over it in trying to get to the loo fairly quickly. And it was because it was too heavy to pull this way. If I could slide it that way, I don't know why. It's just the way my arms are not working as well as they used to. But trying to put it this side was tricky. It was easier to shove it on the floor, but then I was going to trip over it. So I decided, I had to think about this, and I thought, why don't I? I'm only a single person, and I'm a shrinking single person. So why don't I go convert to a single duvet on my double bed? And that's what I did. And it works very well because now I can flip it that way because it's not so heavy. So you flip it that way and get out without tripping over my duvet. But at the moment, it has a gingerbread duvet cover on that I bought in Busy Bee, and it was on a great bargain, and it had little gingerbread men, and it was a Christmassy one, and I still got it on the bed. I take it off to wash it, and then I put it back on again. But I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll get some bedding in there today. Yesterday, maybe I'll go and get some bedding, and maybe I'll have something that's not Christmassy. Now we're nearly halfway through the year. Maybe I'll convert to non-Christmassy. And I walked in, and they had 50% off everything, and it looked like the concession was going from the store. In fact, that it's going from the store. So they were doing clearance on everything, but the price was already 50% off. So I got myself a pink one, pink and white. I thought I'd go pink. They didn't have lilac, so I went pink and white. I don't have any colours on my wall, so I can just do whatever I like. This was original recommended price £50. It's a good quality one. You can get them very cheap, but some of them are cheap and cheerful, aren't they? And this was originally £50, and then it was £25. So I had to say to the lady, "Is it 50% off of the 50%?" Or is this the 50% off? She said, "No, it's another 50% off." So it was £12.50, which I didn't think was bad for a good quality duvet. And it's got a pillowcase in it as well, because there was some cushions at the side, like a cushion to go on a bed, that sort of thing, like that. But I don't do all this posh laying out my bed and making it look, like a dream home, because I just don't. And I was looking at that pillow thinking it was the pillowcase, but it wasn't. It was a cushion. And I thought, oh, they haven't got any pillowcases. And then I realised that the pillowcase, it says, dangerous with the brain, it says Eton Super Soft Duvet, pillowcase included, but in little tiny print. So I was well pleased with that. I was really excited. Hang on, you expect to be the size of a Oompa Loompa when you're in your 80s. Hang on, wait a minute, hang on. We shrink as we get older. Some of us don't, some people don't. Hang on. Right, so I'm just catching up on the comments. So Steve says we shrink as we get older. Richard says Tracy reserved. He's reserved for White Rider bus weekend. Bargain, £124, 6-berth caravan at Rookley. That's good. That's good, Richard. Well done. And then, oops, hang on. It's jumping again. Whoops. So Steve expects to be the size of an Oompa Loompa when he's in his 80s. Well, I'm close to my 80s. I'm going to be 75 this year, and I did. So Oompa Loompas, are they dumpy? Yes, they're dumpy, aren't they? Or are they little? Oh, shrinking that way, you mean? Oompa Loompas are little, aren't they? Am I getting confused? Oompa Loompas are that way, right? So anyway, so that was that bargain. Let me put that over there. October 10th to the 13th, says Richard. Wow, Heather says that was a great bargain. Richard's also on the island Wednesday the 10th to Monday the 15th in Shanklin. My goodness, you're a very frequent visitor. Oh, hang on, wait a minute, I didn't mean to do that. I touched a button. Oh, you haven't gone, have you? No, you're still there. Heather says she doesn't make her bed like a magazine either. I'm only going to get back in it. Exactly. And I don't stay in the bedroom long enough to look to see if it's neat and tidy. I just must tell you, last night we had Eurovision. We had the Eurovision final, and I used to watch Eurovision years ago, and then I I stopped liking it because we used to do fairly well, and then they introduced a lot more countries, and then UK never got a look in. And I just thought, you know what? I didn't like sitting there for hours and hours listening to the jury, the votes from the jury in Germany, and the votes, all these votes, and all being, and I hated it. Anyway, I think I watched it last year. Don't remember much about last year, but it came up in my time hop that I'd watched it. But I had seen that it was on this week, and they had something on Tuesday which I missed because I was at the town council meeting. And then they had something on Thursday where I still don't know why our girls sang, but weren't in the elimination bit. So they just sang, but they weren't being they were already through to. I don't know how that worked. Somebody please tell me. And so I decided that last night I was going to watch it because it was just a better presentation, and it was more like a show, an entertaining show round the edges, other than just the singing. There was all these lights and things, and it was just more exciting. And so I was going to watch it, so I did. I put it on. I sat in the chair over there. I watched the first singer start, and I woke up as they were just starting the results. So I didn't sing any of it. I have heard our UK singers sing, so I know what that was like. But that's how it was. Anyway, look, jumping back, let's go back to Busy Bees. Not these Busy Bees, but Busy Bee the store. So hang on, let's go back. Whoops, hang on. Oh, so Heather, that's right. Heather doesn't make her bed like a magazine. They're from Oompa Loompas. Yes, they're from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think he probably means short, shrinking like that. Is that what you meant? So anyway, Tracy's awful with bedding. I have to iron all my bedding, and I can't get into my bed if it's not ironed. Oh my goodness, ironing bedding. Each to their own, and I don't knock anybody who wants to do it. And I know there are people who absolutely love ironing, and I absolutely hate ironing. I don't iron clothes. What I have done is buy a steamer, but I buy all these clothes that you don't tend to need. I try and buy clothes that actually don't. The t-shirts stretch, so they don't need ironing. And this is a new t-shirt that I bought for my shrinking body. I bought this over when I was up with my daughters, and it came from New Look, I think, and I got cashback on it. Oh, that's the first time I've mentioned cashback this broadcast. Are we making history here? So wait a minute, hang on. But no, Tracy, I don't knock it at all. So how come you can come into my house that's so untidy and messy and be okay with it? But I say to people, if you come into my house and you're which Tracy's not, please don't think that Tracy's not. Tracy was quite happy, I think. But if you come into my house and you're critical about the way I live, then that's not. I don't call those sort of people friends. So if you come to my house and see me and chat with me, that's fine. But judge not that ye be not judged. So hang on. Steve only remembered that Eurovision was on when his results started, and I'll tell you something. I am not going to watch it on replay. I watched it. I was surprised because I'd heard our song and I thought it was quite good. I thought it was very good, actually, and I don't usually think much of our songs as we go through. I thought it was good, and they were lovely, those girls. But no, they dropped down. They got one from one lot. We didn't get any point. Oh, I think from the they got points from the the judging, the country's judging, but they didn't get any points from the public vote. I think that was it, wasn't it? I think that was right. Hang on. So Richard's saying Wild Heart Animal Sanctuary, of course, and your daughter's namesake Natasha the tigress. That's it. So he's talking about the what was formerly the zoo, Isle of Wight Zoo, which is now the Wild Heart Animal Sanctuary. Tracy loves ironing, but she has to do it while you're watching. What, while you're watching the TV? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Heather's with me. She doesn't like to iron and purchases things that don't wrinkle. I'm the only wrinkly thing, and you can't iron me. I think I told you this the other day. My granddaughter, who's going to be 6 next week. Oh yes, no, this week. Wait a minute, it's 18th. Yes, she's going to be 6 this week, but I'm seeing them at the weekend. So presents and things all being done at the weekend, and she looks at my skin, and it's not as smooth as it once was. I'm happy with it. I'm happy in my own skin. I'm happy with my own skin. And it says, and she looks at my neck and she says, "Oh, Granny, your skin's squishy." I love it. I love it. So Helen's saying her mum's slept through most of Eurovision. I only put it on for the recap and the results. It's all political. It certainly is, isn't it? You know, I mean, when lots of those other countries came in, we were pushed out the door, weren't we? For a long time, we didn't do very well at all. I thought we were in with a bit of a chance this time, but hey, what do I know? Hang on. Whoops. Hang on. Wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, Heather's. Wait a minute. Is that, it keeps jumping. Scatter cushions and a large cuddly Scooby Doo on top of that. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. No, I've missed some. Well, that's it. Helen's. Then Steve said, "I have a throw over on my bed to make it look like a couch. I like to make my studio flat look tidy." Fair enough, Steve. We are each our own person, and as long as we do what we like in our flat, that's okay. You know, and I all credit to everybody who can be tidy. I think we've diagnosed most of our family as being ADHD. I think we others, isn't it, people with ADHD who are untidy. Do you know? And I look at the mess and I mentally tidy it up, and it doesn't actually do it, does it? but getting up, and moving stuff. I have bursts of energy when I do it, and then I get tired and I sit down again, and then I clear a space. Then I do some crafting, and I've made a mess again. So Tracy comes into my house to visit me, not my house. Excellent, Tracy. Yes, because I think you'd run a mile if you couldn't cope with it. You would run a mile if that's why you came. But if you come to see me, that's okay. I'll try and get tidier. Scatter cushions and a large cuddly Scooby Doo on top of that. Excellent, Steve. Heather's saying, I have a saying, if you come to see me, that's okay. If you come to see my house, make an appointment. I would say make an appointment, but actually I have to keep cancelling the appointment. Sorry, cancelled. Richard has a cuddly tiger. Heather also has a sign in her house that says, "My house was clean yesterday. Sorry you missed it." And I should have a house. My house, my mess. I think have I got any of? I did have some. I've got lots of sayings around. I love those sayings that come on plaques, and now I've got now I've got a cricket cutter. I can make some of those signs to put up. I've got one that says "Take the risk or lose the chance." Happiness is homemade. I've got over there. One of them says "Leave a little sparkle wherever you go," and I was just thinking, you see. You can touch my dust, but please don't write in it. Is one that I should have. I have. I hate surprise callers, as I'm usually in my onesie. Right, okay. I can't do onesies. Do you know why? No, I got to mention the toilet word again, because I can't get to the toilet if I'm in a onesie quickly enough. Sorry, too much information. Oh, watch it on replay. You may make it through the second song. Watch. I'd have to watch it for about a month. So the first time I would watch one song, and then the next song, and the next song. I would never get to the end of it, would I? Oh dear, oh dear. I may have watched it all by Christmas. Do you know what? I don't think I want to watch it, Tracy. I think I've given up on that one. I know who won. That will do me fine. I know, I did hear him sing at the end. Actually, I hadn't heard him sing I was asleep, obviously, when he was singing, and somebody messaged me. I don't know if it was one of you. It might have been. No, I think it might have been Jan. Somebody messaged me and said, "I didn't like that song. It was very warbly." And actually, it was very warbly. It was a bit like that, wasn't it? Or maybe nothing like that. Oh dear. Hazel, good morning, Hazel, coming in from Australia. Lovely to have you in the house. And obviously, you'll catch the replay. There's been all sorts of things going on, some shenanigans and some non-shenanigans, some good things, really good things happening in the community. But lovely to have you in. I think you're the only one coming in on YouTube today. That one or two came in on YouTube, and then they all defected to Facebook because they can all see each other's comments when they're on Facebook. But it doesn't matter where you come in as long as you can see what you want to see. Debbie's saying replay. No, you're not on replay, Debbie. You are actually, if you are watching now, Debbie, we are not on. Not Debs. Sorry. If you are watching now, we are still live. All this time later, we have been going for 3 hours and 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Oh wow! I thought, you know what? I thought I won't be so long tonight because I've already did a live stream. I did a live stream that finished at 7:30 on my Isle of Wight live channel about the bus museum, and then I thought, oh no, it won't be so long. I'll be tired. I'll be, But actually, you lot are perking me up. Spark out after a day of digging in the garden. Well, supervising mostly. I like that sort of gardening, Debs. Oh, precious one. So let's have a look. I have a tiger onesie for winter. You've been supervising in the garden, de-brambling and front patio cleaning. Who's been doing the work then? Richard, is it your brother? Untidy people are often the most intelligent. I'll take that, Richard. I'm not quite sure how intelligent I am. I'm not bad. I can do a few things. I don't always win all the quizzes, those sort of things. Some of them pass me by. I'm learning lots more now, though. So because I watch lots of quiz shows, sometimes, Pointless will have a question and I sort of hear the answer, and then another quiz show will have it and it's the same question comes up over here, and then I know the answer because I listened. There we go. I must be, if untidy people are often the most intelligent, I must be super intelligent off the scale if you're crediting it to the untidiness. 3 hours, yes. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Steve? So Tracy's saying that's, oops. Oh, Jake's in the house. Hello, Jake. Jake is Helen's son. Helen's already in the house. They were the ones who went down with me in the taxi this morning to the bus event. That's what I was doing yesterday, Dave, says Tracy, building a patio. She got to finish it tomorrow. Oh, don't burn yourself out too much, Tracy. So, Jake, I hope you enjoyed all the bus riding today. Did I watch any more of the 1%? Do you know, I forgot about it. I must go back. I did watch 1% Club, one thing after last week's, and I must go back. What channel was it? Was it channel 4 or 5? Or ITV? What was it? Tell me which channel it was. I go back and watch some more of the 1% Club. It was good. Not your brother. Rear garden, your friend Paul. Front patio, your neighbour's kids aged 7 and 10 for extra pocket. Oh, I like that. Absolutely. Get them doing a little bit for their pocket money. What about if the place is tidy but dusty? Does that still make me intelligent? I don't know. ITV, thank you, Tracy. I will do that. So I didn't finish telling you what happened yesterday, did I? We have not got to the shenanigans, but we'll have to get to the shenanigans soon, because I do need to finish the broadcast soon. So I went. Yes, so I went to. I went into Busy Bee. How did I get there? Oh yes. I went by bus. So it's 2 buses to go to Busy Bee, but Busy Bee. The Busy Bee stop from the way I go from Ryde to, so the bus comes along and Busy Bee's this side of the road, and there's a bus stop there that they call the Busy Bee stop because it's opposite Busy Bee, and then it goes round to Tesco's and then round a roundabout and goes on towards Shanklin and that way. I wish I could put this in landscape, then my hand wouldn't disappear off the side of the screen. I don't like these black bits. I like the full screen on landscape. And I've got, maybe when I get my new laptop, maybe I could sort this out. Yes, Lynn, kids done a good job and got, how much did they get? I can't see because that silly thing's on the screen. Wait a minute. I can't see how much they got. Look. £15 each. Oh my goodness. Wow. Those rich children, how wonderful. Excellent. Yes, so let me do it here. So the bus comes along. That's a busy bee stop that I don't get off at because it's dangerous. This road has no crossing and the traffic's quite fast both ways and I'm slow. I do not want to be squished in the road. That would not be a good end, would it? So anyway, so the bus goes, Tesco's is here, so the bus goes up and drops people at the Tesco stop, then goes round the roundabout and then goes on towards Shanklin. But I want to be over here. So what I generally do, and I didn't yesterday, and then I did, if you'll get what I mean in a minute, I want to get off over here. So I have to wait. So what I do is usually I don't get off at the busy bee stop. I go round and get off at Tesco's, wait there, and then a bus coming from Shanklin comes that way, goes round to the Tesco stop, then goes round the roundabout and comes back on this side of the road. So that's what I do. Yesterday I was silly. I was going to do that, and then I got off at the busy bee stop, and I thought maybe there won't be much traffic and it will be okay. And then I thought, you know what? There's too much traffic. I'm not going to risk my life doing this. So then I walked round to Tesco's, and of course, silly me, going round there, it's uphill. It goes uphill before it flattens out at the Tesco stop. If I had stayed on that bus, the other bus coming the other way was there at the same time. I could have got off this bus and straight onto that bus and straight round. But because I didn't, I then had to, I walked up to that bus stop and then I had to wait 20 minutes for the bus that came the other way. But eventually I got there. So I went into Busy Bee, and Busy Bee is a garden centre. But first of all, as you go into Busy Bee, they've got an amazing amount of. They've got china, they've got artificial flowers, they've got bath bombs, they've got all sorts of things. They've got a craft section, they've got a wool section, they've got a cafe over here. They've got some food and sweets and all sorts of things, and island produce, so like things from the garlic farm and all that sort of thing on this level. They've got all that sort of thing. It's an amazing store. They've got books, they've got a disabled toilet on that level, which is wonderful, and just so much stuff on that level. And then so there's 3 levels, so you go down a level and the next level is where the ladies' clothes are, and the bedding and a few other bits and pieces there. And then there's a sort of like a half floor. It doesn't go a long way down. It's just like you can go down 2 or 3 steps, but not if you're not very mobile like me. So you would then get in the lift and just go down that other bit. So I went all around the top floor. I love to look and see what they've got. And last time I was in there with Kath and John, and I took a picture of the haberdashery bit and sent it to Kath. I said, do you remember last time I was in here, you were with me, and I was buying shoulder pads to go in the outfit I wore to my son's wedding, because it originally had shoulder pads in it. And when I got it out of the wardrobe, it had one shoulder pad. I know the other one's in the flat, but I wasn't prepared to look all over the flat for a shoulder pad when I could buy them for £2 or £3 and put new ones in. And actually what I did, I paid my granddaughter to sew them in because I couldn't be bothered. I used to do so much, so I just do all that sort of thing myself. But I said, hey, you want to earn yourself some money? Can you stitch these in? And she did a beautiful job. So then I went down to the downstairs and I came across the bedding. So that's what I bought. And then I went to try on all these wonderful clothes. I picked up loads of clothes. Oh, Tracy loves Busy Bee at Christmas. Do you know what, Tracy? I was standing there taking pictures of what's in the way. You know, when it's Christmas, they have that amazing Christmas tree, goes right up through the middle. The stairs sort of wind round where they put the Christmas tree, and they have the most amazing Christmas world in there. I've videoed and live streamed in there before, lots of times. And I was just imagining Christmas, but it was not. And I was thinking, wow, what a changeover they have to do of all getting rid of all the Christmas stuff to put all the garden furniture and that in. I was amazed. I was just looking at it and just imagining the Christmas tree there. So it was just lovely. So anyway, I got into the ladies department and I saw some sparkly bits and I picked up some bits, and I'm sort of, now I've got smaller. I'm between sizes and I'm never quite sure which size to pick up. So I might, if there's two sizes of one thing I like, I will take both into the changing room. Some of them there were, and some of them there weren't. And I tried on all these clothes, and do you know what I bought? A scarf. No other clothes. I wanted to buy clothes, but either that they didn't look as nice on me as they looked on the hanger, or it just didn't work right, or it didn't quite fit right. One of them I liked, but they hadn't got it. I tried it on in an 18 and I decided I needed a 16, and they hadn't got a 16. It was just like that, and all I ended up was with this beautiful I'm glad I bought the scarf. I don't need any new scarves. I've got a drawer full, probably 2 drawers full of scarves, but I like the sparkle, so I just bought this too. Let's just wait a minute. Let's just go back a bit. Oh, Hazel says that she can get comments on Facebook but no video. Oh, right. No, it doesn't matter where you come in, Hazel. We don't mind because we're streaming to both. It's just that the ones that were here decided to go over there and chat with each other. I don't know why these things happen. And you know what? I did some live streams earlier in the week on Facebook, and then they said, "Do you want to turn these into reels?" Oh, it was at Walk the White last week. And do you want to turn them into reels? And I turned them into reels and loaded them. And people were saying, that's got no sound. So I've stopped doing reels because basically you make the same video into a reel, but then it says on it, no sound, watch the video. So what's the point of putting it up as a reel if it's got no sound on it? So I'm not putting the reel, unless I make a reel, separately with sound, which I think you can probably do. It didn't make any sense at all. So I don't waste my time with that one now. So that's, I couldn't work out when, and it was on Riverfest as well. Some of you were saying that video's got no sound, and I'm thinking, but I played it and it had got sound. Well, of course, I was playing the video and they were looking at the reel that was done from the video, and I couldn't understand why they had got no sound, but I'd got sound. And then I looked at the reel and the reel had no sound for me. Crazy stuff. I don't understand it. So anyway, so Tracy loves Busy Bee at Christmas. Animatronic polar bears at Christmas. Oh yeah, we animatronic. That's right, isn't it? Yes. So Richard loves Busy Bees as well. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth has just come in the house. How nice to see you. Elizabeth, we are 3 hours and 17 minutes and 23 seconds into this live stream, and I'm still going strong. I think I must have my Energizer batteries in today. What do you think? Maybe. But anyway, so I still didn't get to the shenanigans, did I? So I was in Busy Bee, and I was a bit disappointed that all I got was a scarf. But I did get some other bits. Before I'd gone down to the clothes, I managed to buy my youngest granddaughter a unicorn book. Her sister loves unicorns, and it's her sister's birthday this week, and I got this lovely unicorn. It's called it's very sparkly, isn't it? I wonder why I bought that. It's too sparkly, I can't read it. My Treasury of Unicorn Dreams and Unicorns and Dreams, 4 Magical Stories. And this was originally a £9.99 book, but it was £5.99, and I thought, that's good. So Steve's Right. Hang on. I've missed a few comments there. A few have gone by. Elizabeth said, I was thinking this was late. Yes. Deb came in and she thought it was the replay. I don't know if she's still here. Or maybe she, no, I don't know. Tracy said, after today, I'm surprised you're not asleep. No, but the thing is, when I do go to sleep, I haven't got anything. I haven't got a specific time to be awake tomorrow, unless there's anything I've forgotten. I don't think there is. I think it's a quiet day for me tomorrow. Yes, you still have the same energy as at the start of the show. I think I've got more energy. I feel like it's, talking. Wait a minute. Your Elizabeth's grandson's birthday is the 27th of this month. So today we're just closing on my twin granddaughter's 18th birthday. Oh yes, Debs is still here. Excellent. Talking about unicorns, did you bling up your granddaughter's watering can? No. It's here. Here it is. This is the watering can that my granddaughter's going to have for her birthday, but it's not blingy enough. It's out ready to be blinged up tomorrow, tomorrow or Tuesday. I need to bling that up, and then, as I say, you get sound with the reel. Oh, how strange! Hazel says she's getting sound with the reels. Oh, there you are. Debs is still there. So, Debs, you thought it was a replay, but then you realised it's not the replay. I'm still going strong. Wait a minute. So, right, okay. So, yeah, this is good. I got this in Cows when I was with Tracy and Tasha. We were over in Cows, which I'm not going to be doing anytime soon because, well, I could actually. They've done the most ridiculous road diversion, and it's messing up all the traffic. There's a new estate, and then they've got to do some connections of whatever they have to do when they build a new estate, all that stuff with electricity, water, I suppose, I don't know, and they've done this massive diversion. I think you're all going to have to buy extra petrol if you drive cars to go around this massive diversion, and there was a bit of a hoo-ha. So they decided that the buses could go through the normal way. So there must be some sort of traffic lights to control all this. I don't know, but the rest of it is all cocking up. I think you need an extra few hours if you're going to Cows. So I won't be going to Cows anytime soon, not till they've finished it. But when we were over in Cows recently, and Tracy, I think Tracy, was it you, Tracy, or was it Tash, said, "Oh look, there's a unicorn up there." Oh no, you were showing me the watering cans, pointed it out, and I thought I've got to have that for my granddaughter. But I got it home and thought it's lovely because she likes unicorns, but it's not got any sparkle on it yet. Watch this space. I might have. I won't. You won't. Oh, you no. You won't. I won't be able to show you next week because I will not be with them when I'm going live stream on Monday next week because it's family time on Sunday. But I'm gonna paint these. Unicorns have to have lots of nice colours here and on here, and lots of sticky bits on. All so that is a lovely watering can, isn't it gorgeous? I'm glad that Tracy spotted it out. One of you spotted it. There we go. I just hope her sister's not jealous because I wonder if I should have got one for the younger child because sometimes it might be one birthday, but actually you need to give a few bits to the other one, otherwise they might think it's not okay. And because I'm in a position at the moment where I want to do that and I can afford these little bits, I'm going to do that. So third naughty word, Lynn. Oh, did I say something naughty? I can't remember what I said. Anyway, so yes, so this one, I got that one for the one who's in love with unicorns, but I thought, oh, her sister might want something, so I bought my first preschool activity book. So this is for 3+. She's actually going to be, she is 3, or is she 4? It doesn't matter. This will work for her. So look, she's got a pen. She's got pen in the side. Don't know if you can see. Whoops, where my fingers are, there's pens. There, it's multicolored pens, and then beautiful. It's an activity book. I must not forget to take these when I travel. And then earlier in the week, Was it earlier in the week? Yes, it was. It was when I was in Ride. Look what I got. This is not my size. This is for my granddaughter. She says she's sure they can um, share the watering can. Jake is saying there are traffic lights for buses only. It's controlled by a contractor in a green container. So going to cows on the bus isn't bad. Okay, Jake, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Oh, I see what I said, Richard. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was swearing. Never mind. I'll be live streaming Bank Holiday Monday from Litchfield Bower. Excellent, in the daytime. There we go. I'm sure they can share the. Yes, she says she's sure they can share the water can. But I decided they couldn't share these. And if one was having a sparkly one, the other one ought to have a sparkly one. You know, look. So this is. I've got two of these. I think I want this in my size, but they didn't do it in my size. But that's just beautiful, isn't it? I think they would quite like that. And you know, my daughter she buys loads of clothes for my grandchildren because of course they're her nieces, and she just loves doing it. You know, her own children are growing up fast, and then there's little people to buy for. So we do tend to buy them things like this quite a lot. My daughter does it just when it's no birthday. She just does. Reversible so they're reversible sequins. They're those ones that you can push up or down, can't you? I think that's what it means. Anyway, they are gorgeous, and so they're going to wrap up, and I'm going to wrap those up. And actually, earlier in the broadcast, I told you that I made a paper cup for the crafting, for the people who wanted to do crafts. I also made envelopes. Look at these. I make pretty envelopes like this. Look, there we go. Wouldn't you just like a card in an envelope that was all jazzy? What's the point of making a beautiful card and then sticking it in a plain white envelope? So I've started to learn how to make my own envelopes there. Oh, one of the other things I bought in Busy Bee, I bought myself a new lunch bag. Not a box, it's a lunch bag. There we go. And I produced all my lunch, and Tracy and Tash watched me sit and eat my lunch today. Because I do Slimming World and because I'm gluten free, I take my own stuff with me. So there. Hello, Andrea. Nice to see you come in. Where was I? Busy Bees. So yes, right, back to Busy Bees, because we haven't finished the shenanigans, and I can't finish the broadcast until I've finished the shenanigans. Dev says she's been naughty and bought her granddaughter a water pistol. That's the sort of thing we do. Oh, do you know what? One of my relations once, I think it was I don't think it was us. I think they bought our son a drum. I think we got our own back somehow. Can't remember how that one panned out, but I bet they giggled when they did it. Andrea's coming in on YouTube, so we have one or two over in YouTube, but most on Facebook today. Really doesn't matter where you come in, as long as you get, it works for you. That's why we do more than one channel. So anyway, back to Busy Bee, which we keep trying not to do. So I'd done all the clothes. Well, I didn't get any clothes other than a sparkly scarf, but that was nice. Had to have something because I would come out disappointed if I got no clothes at all. And so I got the scarf, and then I thought, well, although my garden is like a weed bed, it's all weedy at the moment after I was ill and didn't do the garden anymore. But I got a rose and it needs potting into a bigger pot. It was given to me by a friend, and it needs to go in a bigger pot, and I need some new compost. And so I thought, I'll go and look at the pots. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to get pots, I need to get some compost. If I'm going to do that, I need to get a taxi home. And I was quite tired by this time. So I rang for taxi, and this was 4:30, before 4:30, and the shop shuts at 5:00. And I rang and I said, can I have a taxi for 5? And they said, no, we can't do that. We can do 5:10. And so I said, okay, that'll be right. There's a seat outside. and I could sit there, and I knew that they wouldn't all be gone home in 10 minutes. And then so I so actually, before I decided to get the pot and the compost, I'd already rung the taxi. That's right. And then I thought I better ring the taxi and see if they can get my shopping, my Navy Nora, and the compost and the 2 pots in the car. So I said, please send an estate car. So you know what's coming, don't you? Well, before that, it got to 5:10. Oh, this was when it said we can't find your car. I think I muddled up which day's taxes. I said it wrong earlier in the broadcast. So it gets to 5:10. No, so I booked the taxi. But then I rang to make sure. I rang back and said, will it be okay to put the compost and the pots in as well as Navy Nora, my walker? Because otherwise I won't buy them. Although I wanted them, I thought I need to be home more than I need to worry about compost. And so they said, oh yes, that's okay, we'll send an estate car. 5:10 comes. The shop shuts at 5, remember. I'm now sitting on a seat outside the shop, but the young lad who helped me with put the compost in a trolley to take it to the counter and put the pots in the trolley, he was brilliant. George, I think his name was. And he was brilliant, and he helped me. And so he said, oh, when the cab gets here, I'll come and lift it into the cab for you. Well, he was doing things inside. The automatic doors have shut, and I'm sitting out here. And all these people were finishing their shopping and coming out and going in their cars and going away. And, as I say, 5:10, I started to look on the app. Sorry, we cannot find your car. So usually you go on the link they send and click on it, and it will say, sorry, your car's not on its way yet, or then it will say your car is on the way, and then it shows you a little map and shows you where the car is and how many minutes away it is from where where you are. So first of all, it says, sorry, we've lost your car. We can't find your car. This only happened to me, can't it? And so anyway, so then so I rang and said, look, I'm sitting outside the store, they're closing. How long's the taxi going to be? Because I can't see where it is. It's lost. So then I'm not quite sure what happened. I got a guy who said, oh, I don't know whether I rang once or twice. I can't remember. But I know that I was sitting there, and so I rang, and the guy said, I'm sorry, I'm new here. I think I did something wrong. So I don't think I had a car booked. I don't know what. And I said, look, I need an estate car to pick me and my stuff up. So then they eventually put it back in as an order, and then it does come up on the app, and it's going to be 5:30. So remember, I wanted it 5. The shop shuts at 5. As it was going past 5:10, 5:15, 5:20, I'm sitting there thinking, they have gates on their car park right over there, a long way over there. And if they all go home, I could actually get out of the car park because there's a little gap. There's a little gate that I could go out across there. But I wouldn't be able to drag a great big bag of compost and 2 big pots with me. And the taxi would not be able to get into the car park if they went and shut the doors. George kept popping out to see if I was still there. And then so finally I could see that it was on its way, and it was just going to be a few minutes. And guess what? Do you think now, which bit of send an estate car don't you understand? So arrives a saloon car. Oh, this is getting better by the minute, isn't it? So I'm saying to the driver, I am not happy. Because the reason some of the drivers who come in saloon cars, I mean, ride taxis know me. They know I have a shopping trolley, and they know they really should always send an estate car, but they don't always send an estate car. And some of those drivers say, "Oh, I can't get that in my boot. Oh, does that fold down? No, it doesn't fold down because I had to have a screw put in, and whoever put the screw in taped it all up so it won't collapse. But I don't usually need it to collapse. It does go in these cars. They just have to put it on its side and just jiggle a bit, and then it goes in. But I wasn't sure what this driver was going to be like. But actually, he was wonderful. Alex was his name, and I said, look, they are supposed to have sent me this car. I said, and now the shop's closing, the gates are going to be shut, and I'm going to be stuck. So anyway, he said, why don't we try? He said, I'm sure I can get this in. So he didn't fuss and bother. He got it easily into the boot of his car, and I got a couple of bags and things with me. He got the compost in the boot as well, and the pots, and then he put my other bags on the back seat, and it was not an issue to him. And I was saying to him, I'm really cross because they've messed me about, and and of course poor George kept coming out to make sure that because it's a lovely store and customer care is what they're all about, very much so. It's a family, it's an independent business, and I couldn't praise them highly enough. So anyway, I said when Alex was driving me home, I said, I really want to make a complaint. I said, I'm not complaining about you because you've done a good job and you've got me in and that, but this was bad customer service, not helping me and get home, and not booking the car in and that sort of thing. Yes, it might have been somebody new, but actually, I'm a regular customer. If like on one of the occasions, was it this morning? This morning we were late. The cab was late. On one of the occasions that the cab was late, that's right. When I was going to one cab this week, somebody had been sick in the cab, and so they'd had to pull a car off. So obviously that makes it a bit more difficult, and I understand that can happen. But when it's just I was tired and it was at the end of the day, I was just getting a bit fed up. So I have got the email to write to the lady who owns the company, because you see, she won't know this has happened to me. She probably doesn't know anything about this, and I think she needs to know how her staff dealt with it. I mean, Alex, I will praise him because he worked, he did it. But she also needs to know that some of the cab drivers say, "Oh, sorry, can't get that in." I had a cab once, and in the end, I had to say to ride taxis, "Do not ever send the guy who drives the Audi to me again." I think I was going for the ferry. So when you're going for a ferry, the ferry doesn't wait if you don't get there. If I don't get to the hovercraft, it will go without me. They sent this guy, and he said, "Well, I'm not putting your shopping trolley in my car." He's a cab driver. That's what lots of us will need, that sort of service. So I said, don't ever send me that guy again. So they never did. But I'm going to have to go soon, actually. Steve's saying he's going to have to go to bed. Hang on, let's just finish off. Customer care, always better with independent businesses. It's good to have Sparkles. One of your window cleaning customers is nicknamed you Sparkles. Excellent. So yeah, we'll just finish off now. So that was all the shenanigans of the week. So customer care, always better with independent businesses, says Richard. Elizabeth's glad I got home safely. You do get around, Lynn. I do worry about. Don't worry too much about me. But do you know what? Was it any wonder that when I sat down in the chair to watch Eurovision and watched the first little bit of it and woke up at the final, when they were doing the results, is it any wonder? But I had a wonderful day. I did enjoy myself, and I had a wonderful weekend. And Tracy and Tracy and Tash and Helen and Jake in here. We've all been down at that event. We've had a wonderful time, and they've helped to make my day even nicer than it was anyway. So that's excellent. So Steve's gonna have to go to bed in a moment. It's nearly midnight. Oh, I better hurry up, or I might turn into a handsome pumpkin when the clock strikes 12. Okay, so Richard, I didn't see your comment. Richard's put, do you turn into a pumpkin at midnight? I turn into a handsome pumpkin. That came from my dad. It was always, instead of turning into a handsome frog, we turn into a handsome pumpkin. Those are just silly things from our family. So not being funny. If you're off for a ferry and book a taxi, doesn't that usually mean you have luggage? Yeah, absolutely it does. Would, you know, they'd be dangerous if they had a brain, some of these people. How is Yvonne? I haven't checked with her. I did try and book in a video, a FaceTime call with her, and we missed each other again. So I will try again this week and see if I can get her. Then I'll message her, Elizabeth, and find out how she is. What would life be without shenanigans, says Heather. Well, what would I have to talk to you about? How would I make you laugh if I didn't have some shenanigans? I might find a way, but shenanigans always helps. Haven't seen her. No, she's not been well. They've not been well, and I know she's been busy with family as well and things like that. So, I will check on her, Elizabeth. Steve saying yes, and I might leave one of my glass window cleaning boots on the palace steps. I love it. I love it. I love your humour, Steve. So anyway, your Prince Charming went to bed at 10:30, alas. Okay. It's all good content, Lynn. Right. And so all being good content, it is, wait a minute. Wordle starts at midnight. Steve and Richard turn into an addict. Okay. So, right. I will send your love, Elizabeth, to Yvonne. And now I'm going to sign off. You've had 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 56 seconds. And if I don't go in a minute, I will turn into a handsome frog. Prince Alfie, says Steve. So I'm going to thank you so much for sticking with me for such a long time. And I hope you've had some sort of fun and laughter along the way. What would life be without shenanigans? And I am travelling on Wednesday. I am sure there will be shenanigans on Wednesday, but you will have to watch to find out. So don't forget, Sunday I'm not live streaming. I will live stream on Monday instead next week so I can enjoy my family time. Sleep well. I certainly will. Night nights, Lynn, says Steve. Night night, everyone. Sleep well, Lynn, says Heather. And Elizabeth saying good night. God bless, Lynn, and everyone. And Richard saying you will need Scotch for our VHS tape. No, okay. I'm going to go. Night, Steve. Night, everyone. Thanks for a lovely day. It's been wonderful. Those of you who've been with me in person and on here, and those of you who've been just on here, you have made it very special. You are wonderful, a wonderful community to be connected with, and I'm glad I know you all. See you next week. Bye. Watch this space for shenanigans along the way.